It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning, babe.
It's a new week, Monday, February 21st, 2022 edition, and you're checking in with Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. I am Gabe Kuhn. My partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brett, how was your weekend?
It was great, big man. How are you?
I am doing well. Producing the program, Go Tigers 247 writer, Bryant Dacus. Brian, how was your weekend, man?
Gentlemen, it was good. It was really good.
And the winner in the Tiger bankroll, Bryant Dacus.
What can I say?
Yeah. We faded him a little bit. We went Tigers. He went SMU. I was surprised you went SMU as hard as you did. You were right.
I was.
To be
always.
fair.
And my text back to you was boo.
It was.
First hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. And we have a lot to get to today, top and not top at the bottom of this segment. Then we bring on David Cobb at the top of the second hour, 4 o'clock from CBS Sports. Talk a little bit of college basketball, maybe a little bit of college football. I just saw it just came down. Matt Luke has officially stepped down as the O-line coach at Georgia. Hope everything is all good there.
Me too.
I don't know if it's health-related. We're going to get more sort of information on that.
I hope it's just another job, but I sure hope nothing's wrong with Matt Luke. And Luke's good folks. Matt and Ashley, Matt's dad, Tom, and Tommy, his brother Tom.
And truly one of the – I mean, Brett, as an O-line guy, I have a lot of respect for the work he's been able to do as an offensive line coach. He really is good at it.
He's really good at it. He's legendary out there in recruiting. Even guys he doesn't get end up liking him. I'm ready to find out more, and I'm just hoping it's not anything other than professional stuff.
But, of course, we're going to also have to talk to David Cobb about where the Tigers stand. We'll talk about the SEC on Saturday. Arkansas beat Tennessee. Kentucky beat Bama. Florida beat Auburn. And Auburn sort of screwed up that in-game situation. We'll also have to talk about sort of the news of the day. Juwan Howard and Greg Gard get into it after their game yesterday. And Juwan Howard ends up throwing a punch or a slap or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was blocked. It was guarded. But he ended up hitting an assistant coach for Wisconsin. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk with David about that at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we bring on Shelby Mass from USA Today, bracketwag.com. What does the bubble look like? Where do the Tigers stand after losing to SMU? And does the AAC possibly have three bids on the table if everything goes well down the stretch? 5 o'clock, we bring on our good friend Michael Cole from the CA on the Grizzlies beat. Just got done in Cleveland for the All-Star game, All-Star weekend. John Desmond Bain, of course, a part of it. First time in a long while we've had a lot to look forward to during an All-Star weekend. But then we'll look ahead to the 22 games ahead for the Grizzlies before playoff time. We get out.
We going W's and L's with them? Like we do college football preseason picks? No.
22 straight games.
Don't threaten the audience like
that.
that.
I was going to say, that would be great radio.
No. We're not threatening the audience.
5:45, we get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone listener line, you know it, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Well, you attended a game this weekend, and a very
good
matchup.
And a Bruce Lee movie broke out.
Very good matchup, but not much offense being played in that Arkansas-Tennessee game.
Oh, it was a grind fest. Both teams, it was a lot of belly button to belly button defense. I told the old Razorback from the day, I said, this one kind of reminds me of the Abe Lemons versus Eddie Sutton 39-38 game back in the day. It was 17-16 with just a minute or two left to play in the first half. Arkansas wins 58-48. Both teams have so much they do so well. They are very well coached.
But shot making ain't one of them.
But the most basic tenet of the sport, ball going through the net, they have a little trouble with. I'll tell you now, Arkansas would win it all if the NCAA tournament was played at Bud Walton Arena.
What was it? Unreal. Was it fun?
Gabe, I've been to packed crowds, packed houses since we've been going back post-COVID. I've been inside. I mean, it was packed at the Sugar Bowl, the Ole Miss Sugar Bowl. But it's the Superdome. It was packed when I went to the Saints-Dolphins game that Monday night, but it's at the Superdome. Very expansive. This was probably the most intimate, 20,000.
Right.
Packed crowd. And when I say packed, I mean elbow to elbow. there wasn't even that smattering up there of some empty or over there some ones and two. Not one.
Okay.
Not an empty. And the noise. And the Arkansas basketball's back.
Really, I mean, let's think about it. The Auburn game was packed out.
Kentucky will be.
Tennessee was packed out. That's what I was going to ask. Kentucky, to the brim and then some, I'm imagining.
My good friend I sat with Saturday, I asked him, and it was loud. I had to yell it. I said, is this Auburn level?
On a Saturday, too.
On a Saturday. I said, is this Auburn level? He said, close, not as much. But I'm thinking all of that is patty cake compared to when Big Blue and Cal rolls in there. And there was, I won't say a big number, but there was ones and twos of Tennessee spattered about.
Mm-hmm. I got to catch bits and pieces of the game itself. And what I did see of the game was just they could not make a shot. My gosh. I think they both were under 30% from the field, under 30% from three.
There's no changing
the one thing I noticed, it was a game that Jalen Williams from Arkansas was going to have his fingerprints all over. Really good at the rim at challenging shots, really good at bringing rebounds.
Kind of running the point in a half court at times.
Yes, I think he had a double-double. It's like his four straight
out of the high post.
4 straight double-double. I just get worried because I saw him against Auburn, against Walker Kessler. I'm worried about that team against larger front courts, how they're going to be able to handle themselves.
That's a high bar. That may be the highest bar against the Auburn front court. But,
of course.
But Arkansas goes to the Elite Eight last year. That might have been a little ahead of schedule. I don't think they're not doing that this year. I don't think they're going to the Elite Eight. But, if they went to the Sweet 16 or just won a game in the tournament, next year's the all-in year. And, look, everybody knows, Arkansas fans knows, they had Corliss as a freshman, it was Sweet 16. Had Corliss as a sophomore, they win it all. Had Corliss as a junior, they go to the final game and get beat by UCLA. So, it's evolutionary. I think next year's kind of their all-in year. But both of those teams, Barnes' team and Musselman's team, just so well coached. Screens, passing, trapping, recognizing double teams.
Everything except shooting. Everything except shooting.
Yeah,
and that's streaky at times. That's game to game.
Isn't it streaky around the sport?
Yeah, that's game to game. You're going to measure that. Also in the SEC over the weekend, Kentucky got that win over Bama, 90-81 in regulation. That was sort of the opposite of what we saw in Bud Walton. And Florida got Auburn in a nasty game, 63-62. Did you see that in-game situation?
Auburn's guards scare me for them winning at all.
They're not consistent enough. You don't know where you're getting it from. And we have been pushing this the entire year. I love their front court. It's unreal. Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, best front court. Yeah, best front court in the country right now. But their guards, while they have talent, while at times they have good games,
go goofy.
You don't know where you're getting it from every game.
They can go goofy, and Auburn's going to go deep in the tournament. I would, if I had to do my bracket today, just working backwards, I'd have Gonzaga in the finals. I would have Duke because of the K story somewhere in there, and I'd have Auburn at the 8 for sure. And then I'd have to really think about who I have them paired up against. But we're less than 3 weeks from Selection Sunday. A week from tomorrow is March 1.
We're there.
Next Monday, Northeast Conference tournament games.
Love the Northeast Conference.
Love it.
I'm sure you do.
I do.
I'm sure you do, Bryant. But yesterday, for people in this area, not a very fun day. And I talked to a buddy who's a huge Tigers fan before the game. He said, I'm already bought back in. I'm ready to get hurt by the Tigers. I'm ready to get hurt again. Well, he got hurt yesterday. 73-57. Tigers lose to SMU. And
same old.
What's bothersome about it is you thought Penny had it going. You thought Penny figured out the rotations. You thought Penny knew what he wanted to do. He didn't have much of a plan. And he did after the game. You got to give him credit. Early in the year, he did not take responsibility fully. He put it on the players in a lot of ways early in the year. He said it was all his fault. He said he did not have his team prepared enough to go play that game in SMU.
It's disgraceful to leave Dave out there waiting so long for players and coaches.
It's frustrating. That is very frustrating.
And when you win, you hustle out there and you talk to the media. And when you lose, you hustle out there. It is the hometown announcer, a very loyal, very good, dedicated hometown announcer. And Dave doesn't have a clue I'm saying this. He'd probably kill me if I did for invoking. So wherever you are, wherever you're coaching, hustle out to the hometown announcer.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that sentiment.
For any of the 358 in college basketball, don't leave the hometown guy hanging.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
Whoever it is.
Yeah, waiting for that post-game interview with Dave does drag on quite a while, doesn't it?
And I think it's disgraceful. You should get out there. Now, Gabe, look, a week ago today, we take 2-1, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I had said going into it. But
do we take the one loss by 16 and you're down 22?
No, you don't take that. But if you said 2-1 to a lot of Tiger fans going into that stretch with a win at Houston, I think everyone takes that. And
but every scab got torn off again yesterday.
Well, yes, and the biggest thing that bothered me is the rotations. You played 10 guys for 9 minutes or more. You're taking minutes away from Josh Minot, who has proven time and time again that he can play winning basketball. And you have Chandler Lawson, Malcolm Dandridge getting minutes.
Jalen Duren had 6 touches.
When there was just not much
20.
there for him.
Now, do they have the point guard that can get him the ball to have 20
Well,
touches?
here's the thing about Alex
do.
Lomax. You can say what you want. Five assists, 1 turnover again yesterday. Five assists, 1 turnover. He has taken it,
then.
But he has taken it upon himself to change the way he's playing. And I still think there's reasons to have some positivity for making the tournament in general, because you go look at bracketologists, a lot of them have them still in the last 4 in or last 4 buys. Some have first 4 out. They're still on the bubble.
It's anything but hopeless.
Yes, they're still on the bubble.
It's very hopeful.
But yesterday, you are right. The rotation was not right. They turned the ball over 18 times, gave SMU 27 points off turnovers. Kendrick Davis, this is something that, Bryant, we've talked about this. It has been sort of a calling card for a Penny Hardaway coach team, Penny Hardaway coach defense. The other team's best player before this year never really got to get his game off like they have this year. Kendrick Davis got whatever he wanted, 27 points at the end of that thing, shot up over 50%. He did whatever he wanted, and this is a guy, by all accounts, was coming off somewhat of an injury.
Yeah, not 100%. So.
He was shaking, baking, inside, outside, passing, everything you wanted to do, he was able to do. Well, now at least 4 games. We're down. I mean, we threatened the audience. We're going game for game with the Grizzlies with the last 22.
4 games different.
This 4 is simple, and I want it at the AutoZone text line. Get in the zone at AutoZone text line 901-360-8255. Just the record. This last 4, what's the record going to be? What's the record going to be? This is not picking Tennessee Tech and North Carolina Central, and then you get into Alabama State and Tulsa. And 4 to go. What's the record going to be?
And it's different too. Because
what is it?
You look at this Temple team. Temple coming off 2 pretty substantial wins. I know they beat SMU without Kendrick Davis, but they went into Cincinnati and beat them. So Temple's not a bad team. Wichita State's not a bad team.
I think they go 3-1. But I think this next game's important because I think this is a different team.
Being obvious?
Yes. Okay. But I think this is an important game just because of the fact we've seen this team kind of lose a big game, and then get down on themselves, and that turns into 5-6 losses. How does this team respond? I think this is a different team. I think they're more bought in than they were at the beginning of the season. So how do they respond against Temple on Thursday? Do they come out fired up, making shots?
Great take,
or do we see them, at the beginning of the season when they were at home, going 5 or 6 minutes without a single point?
Kind of the old Alabama football. You can't let them beat you 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Right. And it comes down to how they're going to game plan Temple. Temple's been playing substantially better, and I don't think the game plan.
This league,
Brett,
is
the game plan,
bad.
and I think it's very fair to say, going into SMU, that game plan was not worth a damn.
No.
There was no thought of how they were going to defend the small lineup that SMU hits you with. They try to run all over the floor. There was nobody there. And they turned the ball over consistently. It's just the game plan wasn't there.
It wasn't, and we're kind of on Temple watch, and that's the next game. So that's the one you need to be on watch for, and kind of talking in pretty hushed and hallowed terms about Temple. Y'all want to guess the Temple net today? Just jump out there. I got it in front of me. I cheated.
They're probably above. Let me go 65.
114.
Really?
I was gonna say around 112.
Really? Even after beating SMU and Cincinnati in a row?
I don't mean it to be this offensive. And look, I know budgets and everything would change if it was like this. But I'm sitting there Saturday at Arkansas and Tennessee and thinking the Tigers would not win a single game on the road in the SEC.
Oh, no.
Temple 15-9. 15-9 and sitting that low in a net.
114.
Tigers at
Tulane's
44.
at 100.
Tigers at 44 still. And they were 40 to start the
Which
week
is
once
okay.
they got those two straight wins.
SMU at 46, and that's a whole debate there. What takes precedent? 2 wins in head-to-head or a net ranking?
But
for a final bid, I say 2 wins.
But this game, all bets are not off as far as the tournament is concerned. But
No.
you're very concerned about what you saw against SMU and other teams seeing that on film and taking advantage of it.
And I'm going to quote Jimi Hendrix, and the hour is getting late. Today is February 21. We're not talking about, all right, December 21 and got some practices around Christmas to work on things. The hour has gotten late, and there's a lot. 9 losses, that's a lot of losses. And I dare say, tell me a good loss on there. You look to those 9 losses and say, yeah, that's a really good team right there. It's going to make a lot of noise in a month. Who is it?
There's not good losses. Best you could say is Iowa State, probably. And they have fallen off the face of the earth.
We still trying.
But they've fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to say the Tigers can go 3-1.
I do too.
In their last 4, but the inconsistencies have been so apparent all year, and you can't blame this one against SMU on injuries. Mm. Injuries aren't there. They have everybody on the floor. They're full strength. They had been playing well.
Yeah. It was just bad. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
And I'm going to go right where we just got off of. Tigers versus SMU. They lose 73-57, dropped to 15-9, dropped to 9-5 in conference. 18 turnovers. SMU took advantage of those. 27 points off those turnovers. Kendrick Davis came back after a loss his team suffered versus Temple and went
Magic
off.
Johnson.
He looked unreal. Tigers didn't get to the free throw line enough. They got out-rebounded, even though they were substantially bigger, which is just unbelievable to me. And here's the quote that really threw me off, and they talked to Chandler Lawson after the game. And I thought, Penny a month ago when Chandler Lawson was about to start playing, he said Chandler Lawson is going to make a difference on the defensive end. And I think Chandler Lawson, when he gets his time, has done that. And I have a lot of respect for what Chandler Lawson has done with his extended minutes. But he said after the game, this is a learning experience. We really needed this to humble ourselves. We were too cocky coming into the game like we had already won. You lost to them 70-62 at home.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Why would you come in cocky? Why would that be the thought process playing this SMU team, who, by the way, is 19-6 now? They haven't lost many games. Have they won really great, substantial games that put them into tournament talks? No, but now I think SMU's firmly in those tournament talks.
Also, on top of that, 13-0 at home now.
And I think the game in a vacuum, you'd say, yeah, they are 13-0 at home.
That's another thing.
It's going to be tough. But in a vacuum, that game almost helps SMU more than it hurts the Tigers as far as tournament chances are concerned. But for the Tigers,
they're in a peer group.
I agree. This margin for error,
they're in the same flag.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this margin for error with these last 4 games against 3 very capable teams, 1 really good team, it's very, very small. Temple, Wichita State, at South Florida, whatever.
What's the record?
Then versus Houston, you got to be able to get to 3-1 if you want to keep those at-large dreams alive.
Get in the zone at the AutoZone text line and tell us the record for this last 4. We're not asking for 28, 30 game prediction or even 22 that we threatened you with earlier. My top story, Tigers go down in flames versus SMU. Swept by the Ponies. 9 losses on the year. That is an extraordinary large amount of losses with 4 to go and at least 1 or 2, we think, at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth at the AAC Conference Tournament. and to lose both games to SMU, to lose both games to Tim Jankovich, who really has had a mastery over Coach Hardaway. I don't know how 0-2 SMU being 0-2 to SMU gets you in anybody's bracket over SMU. The net and strength of schedule, all that is close enough that if I'm a bracketologist and it's down to those two teams for the last spot, well, who beat somebody twice?
Mm-hmm.
That's who gets in the tournament. And reverse all this. Reverse it all, Tiger fans. Reverse it all and say it was 2-0 Tigers over it. You know what you would be saying. Let's just be consistent on this.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, Joe Lenardi put out his bracketology last night. I don't know if he pulled the switcheroo like he did last week on me. He didn't yet.
No, not yet.
He might have an update later today.
He probably will.
I have the most updated update right in front of me.
We triple checked you this time, Gabe.
Yes. And he has the Tigers in the last 4 in and SMU in the first 4 out. It's a very interesting sort of bubble situation we're running into.
And you know what you would be saying, and I would be saying it. See, my story doesn't change.
Not top story of the day.
Not top story, and we're going to really visit this in the next segment heavily. But the Juwan Howard Greg Gard thing. Most of you have seen it by now. If you haven't, Juwan Howard ends up swinging and hitting an assistant coach because him and Greg Gard exchange some pleasantries
call it a
over.
Swing, but anyway,
it was a
slap.
open
He came
hand.
down.
It was an open hand.
Upside the head.
Yeah, it was kind of a love tap in the grand scheme of punches. People want to say punches. That was a love tap.
I want
Not
a punch.
I've seen more punches thrown in this hall.
But Greg Gard called a timeout with 15 seconds left, up by 14,
hitting Rudy Tomjanovich.
and Juwan Howard took exception to that, and it's really, really bad. And clearly, what Juwan Howard did, especially in that moment, he's got to be smarter. I mean, he's got to be smarter. You set an example for your players because they followed suit. They started swinging.
Yeah.
But he
They immediately started swinging.
Real.
And
you don't do that.
And
just keep moving, everybody.
The other
Everybody
part,
keep moving.
the other part for Juwan Howard that made it stupid, not just because this is your second strike when you talk about Mark Turgeon, the issue from last year, and it puts you on thin ice, but you need all hands on deck for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You're 14-11. You're on the bubble. You have 3 top 25 games to play.
I don't know how they in Oklahoma are on the bubble.
But you have 3 top 25 games to
Gotta
play.
put 68 in
the Big Ten. You have a chance to put yourself in the tournament, and now you're probably going to be at a disadvantage. Either you not on the floor for the rest of the year, or some of your players off the floor. And Juwan and Greg Gard's tone after the game was a little bothersome to me. No remorse. No remorse. They didn't care. They were not sorry at all. They were not regretful about it. But in the end of the day, I see a lot of people calling for Juwan Howard to be fired.
No way.
Chill the heck out. Relax. Okay.
Hey, this stands as your last warning.
Yes, you get suspended, you deal with him, you punish him, but firing him right this second after winning AP Coach of the Year, Big Ten Coach of the Year, relax. Relax on that.
I'm with you. RELAX, as Aaron Rodgers told us. My not top story right there. It's going to be a lot of hot takes. It's been on Juwan Howard, but just ask yourself this. Like earlier, just a few minutes ago when I said, reverse everything. Somebody tell me the last time in college sports that you can remember a coach for one side slapping a coach for another team. Not player against a coach. That speaks for itself, what Woody Hayes did. I was watching it live, I think on a Friday night, watching the Gator Bowl, and everybody knew he's done. And he had been told repeatedly, Coach, you're up against your last chances because you're a maniac, and everybody knew it. But
maniac.
Just everybody tell me the last time they remember this happening, coach striking another coach. And I'll wait. And I'll wait. And I'll wait. Because I don't remember one ever. Now, yes, Woody Hayes striking Charlie Bowman, and he was out summarily and should have been. And he didn't even put up much fight. He knew he was done.
And that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. We're going to come back, and we're really going to break down this situation. We're going to talk about it. Who was it the wrong?
What goes the Pruder film? Umbrella Man?
What needs to change in the future? All of that on the other side. Greg Gard, Juwan Howard getting into a post-game scuffle. We'll talk about that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Hey, Mid-South, the Kia President's Day sales event is in full swing at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and you're going to want to make your move today. Get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and get ready to ride in a 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month. 2022 Kia Soul LX, $219 a month. Both 36-month leases, $27.99 due at signing. Plus 2022 Kia Sorento LX, we Gossett, $308 a month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing. So come see Bobby J. He's going to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte Indy 456, $841, MSRP $21,090. Soul N78, $23,215, MSRP $21,515. Sorrento NG 104,027, MSRP $31,460. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance through KMF. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22. Dealer stock only.
20,000 bonus points, 18.99% variable APR, and a $32 statement credit when you spend $200 before your dog's 8th birthday.
Credit card ads have all sorts of numbers, but they mean nothing to you if you don't get approved. So here's Credit Karma's number, 66. Like members who shop on Credit Karma get approved 66% more often than the national average. Now that's a number you can rely on. Credit Karma. Applied with Karma Confidence.
Member approval rates in 2021, 66% higher than 2020 CFPB national average.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Want to get your reaction out there on the Juwan Howard Greg Gard situation that took place yesterday after the game between Wisconsin and Michigan. 901-360-8255. Auto-Zone listener line is open. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Now, I guess we'll start in order here, Brett. What really triggered the situation was some schematic issues. Greg Gard calls a timeout with 15 seconds to go, up by 14, because Juwan Howard and his team was pressing Greg Gard's walk-ons. I look at the situation, and part of me wants to take sides on this. I don't think either of them was right. I don't think two wrongs make a right in that situation.
Everybody coach your
either.
own team. And I don't like any unwritten rules around any sport, and I don't want a bunch coming in to baseball's the king of the unwritten stuff.
Right.
And I can't stand it there. Everybody coach your own team. And Gabe, you don't play golf, so you might not quite get this, but a lot of people that do will understand it. It happens every year at the Ryder Cup and every year at the President's Cup on giving putts in match play. And stroke play, it has to go in the bottom of has to go in the cup. But in match play, you can say that's good from 150 yards out if you want to be dumb. But on the green, there's always that gamesmanship of, well, I gave you 2 holes ago and you didn't get. I swear, if I was ever the captain or a player on that first tee, here's how we're playing today. Everything goes in the bottom of the cup.
Yeah.
There's no vagary that way.
Mm-hmm.
College basketball, pregame, when they're out there kind of visiting a little bit pregame, as everybody does. Hey, coach, you coach your team however you see fit. I'm going to do that with mine. Cool? Cool. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And look, I thought the Greg Gard timeout was stupid.
Well,
but I understand why he took it. He's getting pressed. He's got his walk-ons in.
Well, also, he was about to get called for a 10 seconds.
Yes, I get
Take
that.
the timeout, get the 10 seconds back.
Again, I'm with you. I thought the timeout.
But so far on the major,
you're up by 14.
On the
They want
major
to take a
minor
10
scale,
10-second call. Take a 10 second.
We're still at minor.
Regardless, I thought it was the reason this jumped off was stupid. It was very stupid.
Very.
And when they went into
it
handshake
escalates
lines,
here.
and by the way, I do have to get this out of the way. People saying, "Well, we should never do handshake lines." We've done it for years. Why do we have to stop it now because one open-handed kind of slap is thrown?
Only thing I say, if we're going to get rid of the post-game handshake stuff, let's get rid of all the bro hugging pregame then. We're going to do that 2 hours
but
before
either way,
when nobody's around and nobody sees that.
I mean, how long have we done handshake lines? Let's not act like
Forever.
they're the reason that these things happen. I think the reason this happened, if we're being honest, where I think this started, the instigation of it, Greg Gard should have let Juwan Howard
sure
walk
should have.
past. Juwan Howard was angry. He was angry. You could tell it. It was visible. And Greg Gard stopped and frisked him.
For whatever reason, don't touch him.
I know you feel like you're entitled to explain yourself to him, but I'm telling you, where his mind is, where his mind is, you don't want to go explaining. You don't want to have to get into a confrontation with Juwan Howard. He's angry.
Even with the Turgeon stuff, Juwan Howard's 35-year MO has not been one of a hothead. He was probably the most lovable of the Fab Five. Well, really, there are only 2 that weren't lovable, and that was Weber and Rose. Everybody liked Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, and Juwan Howard. And then Juwan Howard built up more friends in the NBA as the NBA lifer than Greg Gard knows.
Mm-hmm. I think it really was started by Greg Gard stopping and frisking him in the line.
I don't agree.
Does Juwan Howard have to come with that type of attitude? No, he doesn't. But he did. He had it. And if you're going to stop and try to explain something to Juwan Howard, you need to understand how perturbed he is by the situation, how annoyed he is, and how he may react.
Can we talk?
Will that ever be?
Are we okay?
No. Will I ever give Juwan Howard a pass for how he acted? Absolutely not. You can't do that. But if someone is that annoyed,
it didn't offend me that much. I'm sorry, it didn't.
If someone was that annoyed and in a situation like that, don't stop him.
Again,
maybe try to explain.
Maybe it's my sensibility. I was the least offended person over the Tennessee fan reaction. Was I not? I was the least offended about that. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt yesterday. Guy did get a good slapping upside his head. But some people may need that.
Yeah,
but I don't.
And the assistant coach did walk right back.
Yeah,
into
that
it.
was.
He
that
walked
was rough.
right into the pile. Like, what are you doing, buddy?
But I just don't know if you're Juwan Howard. I mean, just keep walking. You don't need to pull your mask down and say, "I'm gonna remember that one." Why?
Greg Gard stopped him.
I understand, and I'm not going to try. I'm not going to. But no, Juwan Howard said, "I'm going to remember that before," and I'm not trying to defend Greg Gard at all. But Greg Gard, does that a lot. He's very, for some reason, he's very touchy with opposing coaches. I'm not saying he should have done that. I'm just saying that's what he does. And if someone comes by you and says, "I'm going to remember that," what are you going to remember? I mean, what? I'm probably going to say something too. I'm not going to, should he have done it?
That's
no.
fair.
But is it going to happen? Yes. I don't think Greg Gard, I think it was more on Juwan Howard starting it by initiating the conversation. He should have just walked by.
I write it mostly off to boys will be boys.
Yeah.
And also the order of the things that happened is when Greg Gard touched him, then he said, "I'll remember that."
I think it was before.
Because he pulled his mask down and he said, "I'll remember that."
And then Greg Gard stopped. I don't think that's how it
went. The mask got pulled down after
I
he was
don't think that's how it went.
That's exactly how it went, though. I hate to say it. But either way, regardless
is that not so
of the
2022? The
situation,
mask.
if he is trying to do a blow-by and not saying anything, just let him blow by. That's what needs to happen in the end of the day. Because what happened after that was so stupid on so many different fronts. And Juwan Howard should be ashamed of himself because he puts his team in a bad position to be in postseason play.
Yeah.
What are they going to look like here for 2 or 3 games if they don't have their players, if they don't have Juwan Howard out there leading them?
Yeah, Moussa Diabate was getting active in there.
He
sure was.
He was getting real active.
And then that's how, all joking aside, we have a Rudy Tomjanovich, the punch from Kermit, Washington, or we have, a really bad incident and somebody comes out of the bottom of the pile with a broken jaw.
Yeah.
Because then that's big old boys being boys then.
Was there someone at the bottom of that pile?
Someone fell.
Was there an issue?
Was there a
there?
Jeff Van Gundy?
I don't know.
Nobody was overly hurt. No one got hurt.
No.
But
I saw Dale Brown get out there and trying to protect Shaq one time, and he shoved another player, but it was peacemaker, don't mess with my guy, more kind of shove.
But at the end of the day, though, for this situation,
and Dale was nuts.
Isn't it obvious what needs to happen?
Lovely nuts. But
Greg Gard, 1 game. Juwan Howard, if you want to get him for the rest of the games in regular season play, get him for the rest of the games.
We got to do something.
Suspend him. The firing, it's not a fireable offense unless it happens again the same way.
No, if it happens again, it's no question about it. But it's not fireable this time, Gabe. So what do we do? Because we have to do something because in my not top story, somebody please tell me the last time it occurred. It hasn't. So we can't let it ride. We have to punish it pretty severely this time so it doesn't rise to that or more next time.
Yep.
And mine is this. Coach Howard, see you when next season starts.
Juwan, you ought not act like that in the future. You ought not to. I mean, you just don't be as confrontational as you have been your first 3 years.
Gard and the Wisconsin guys, y'all are missing the next game.
Mm-hmm. Players, I didn't see a bunch of players going at it from the Wisconsin side. There was a couple, and from both sides.
Yeah, not as much as Michigan guys.
I didn't see many haymakers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of looping rights.
I saw Diabate throw.
Ooh, Diabate. I mean, he could have been in the ring. Woo!
He was squared up.
He was throwing them. He was boom, 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 boom.
He was throwing hooks.
Yeah.
I mean, he was throwing hooks. But the people saying he needs to be fired are the same people that loved Bobby Knight back in the day for his antics.
So true.
Throwing chairs everywhere, pushing his players, poking them in the chest.
Kicked out of a country at the Pan American Games.
I mean, good Lord.
I can't remember whether it was Puerto Rico or Panama, but it was at the Pan Am Games, summer of '79. And I think there's still a standing. If he showed up today, the warrant's still good to go for his arrest. Just one of the most insufferable rear ends of all time, and he got away with it because 2 national championships and a gold medal will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make it right.
Yes, winning still does a lot for
think
people
of the dynamic of the times of him up on the NCAA tournament dais. When you go and cover an NCAA tournament, the players up there, I mean, kind of lording above everybody, and there's the moderator. Phil Cannon would often do it here in Memphis, or Bob Wynn, and then there would be the head coach and 1 or 2 student athletes, and that's how you directed all questions to the student athletes, and the media down below it. Bobby Knight showing up with Calbert Chaney, one of his favorite players of all time, and Calbert Chaney was not offended by it, but can a 21, 22-year-old get that offended by anything that a head coach does with a whip? I mean, the visual. I mean, are you serious? Even in 1992, I was going, I think that's a little over the top.
Eventually, it caught up to Bobby Knight.
It did.
We're not going to act like it didn't, but
it did.
For years and years and years, the winning he did, people held him up as
slinging the
as
chair,
the guy.
joking Neil Reed is what got him
as the coach in college basketball for a long time, alongside Coach K. But he was always lifted up as one of the premier coaches in college basketball.
Basketball poobahs.
And people laughed at his antics. People almost encouraged it at times. It was always talked about. So
I don't think I did. I don't think I laughed.
Not you. I'm not talking about you in particular, but
I know I didn't laugh over the whip, and I'm pretty sure I didn't laugh over the chair. He literally had a whipping chair act going.
How many times, though, had we seen over the years Bobby Knight, and they do segments on him and his antics? They show that clip and how hot-headed he is, and they just lift it up and say, that's who he is.
He got
that's
a standing O
him.
at Assembly Hall that night for it. Standing O.
Mm-hmm. Gamesmanship.
Gamesmanship.
Yeah, it's all about the game.
But in the end of the day, Juwan is an AP Coach of the Year, Big Ten Coach of the Year. Unreal last year.
He's not going to be fired, and he shouldn't be fired.
He shouldn't be fired. He made a fool of himself. Try and move on. If it keeps up, then we can have the discussion about firing him. But it's year 3 for him. And that situation, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, escalated entirely unnecessarily.
And Gabe, here is why between the NCAA and the Big Ten and Michigan Athletics Department's officials, it needs to be handled. Because if we handle our own discipline in sports, then that leaves no outside entity wanting to jump in. We don't need Congress involved. We don't need a state legislature involved. Because here's what's going to happen.
Keep Congress out of it.
If we don't hand out our own punishment, then what if the assistant coach filed charges?
That'd be goofy.
I want to know what he said. Because obviously he said something to set
and it looked
Juwan
like
off.
he sort of jumped in there and pushed in there and was pressing up against some of the players
I don't think
from
it was
Michigan.
the most offensive word, or we would know that.
No, yeah, I think so.
They clearly were yelling back and forth at each other. I don't know what was said.
Nobody does. That's what I'm saying.
I also know the assistant coach put himself in a weird position.
No, he did, for sure.
Back up out of there,
smacked
brother.
up across the head.
Yeah, back up out of there, brother. This is not your scene. You're not supposed to be doing this.
No.
Man.
This summer, Greg Gard and Juwan Howard at Big Ten coaches or wherever, very similar to how I think Rick Barnes and Coach Hardaway will, somewhere along the way this summer, scouting somebody at a camp. Hey, let's talk and get over in the corner, turn the temperature down, strike a deal to play again. I think Memphis and Tennessee will, and even as gloomy as it feels like right now, and let's be better than this. So I'll move on.
Down and handle. There's other people besides us in the world. So I hope this calms down. Juwan Howard and Greg Gard are certainly going to hear from the Big Ten offices here in the next few days, and we'll see what their actual punishment
Harbaugh's
is
sitting
going
back
to be.
laughing. Now they're not so worried about me now.
He's thanking Juwan.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere I was going to work in that joke. If Michigan had fought near that hard against Georgia, maybe the outcome would have been better, but it would have been a bad joke.
Yeah, well, there was
I
also
like it.
there was
That's
also the
hilarious.
joke going around. Maybe Juwan Howard is just triggered by timeouts since the Chris Webber incident.
Ooh, that was 93.
Yeah,
That was first year.
maybe timeouts just set him off.
Second year.
Timeouts might just set him off completely.
That was in the Final Four in New Orleans at the Dome, just like this year.
We're going to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, have some text we want to read from you guys on our AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. Stay with us.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof, or even if you need one, looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. That's Witten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
The spring sales event is rocking and rolling at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Want 43 MPG Highway in these crazy times? We Gossett in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $239 a month or $16,715. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, 27 MPG combined in an SUV, $349 a month or $26,010. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander. We Gossett at $398 a month. Not a lease, you own them. And get our stellar 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months Mirage, NH001-803, MSRP 17465 Sport, NU003361, MSRP 27010, Outlander NZO 53093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
After a thorough review of the film between Brian Dacus and I, we have finally come to the conclusion that it does look like Juwan Howard did say, I will remember that S beforehand. He did not pull his mask down. Popular belief says he pulls his mask down. He pulled his mask down after the fact.
I still disagree with that.
But no, he was sort
we'll
of
agree to disagree.
He was touching his mask, and he did say it through his mask.
We'll agree to disagree.
So we do have some.
Is it late February 2020 with the mask?
we reminded it. We went slow-mo a few times. And we finally got the good comprehensive video review, and he did say it beforehand.
Just like some officials, now, you got to go back and look at it a couple times.
I went generational, y'all. Y'all, it's a Zapruder film. We got anything?
Crickets.
I've heard it before, yeah. I know it's a Zapruder film. I mean, I've heard it used. I think I know the context of the usage.
Abraham Zapruder has a new video camera, very revolutionary for November 22nd,
of course,
1963. He's at the Grassy Knoll in Dealey Plaza, and he got the video of all time of President Kennedy's assassination. And immediately, I think, Life magazine paid him like $100,000 that night for it. And for 1963, that's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, we do have the Zapruder film. We did review it. Yes. We reviewed it at the break.
We have
the
no
Juwan Howard Great Guard.
Are y'all the Warren Commission? I know y'all. I'm sorry.
Ron texts in 901-360-8255 if you would like to comment on this. Ron says, do y'all think Howard should be fired for hitting another coach? Then his players started throwing punches. No. I think if this is something that continues to happen after a suspension, which I think is what they should give him, then you can start having that conversation.
And I don't want to hear if I hit Gabe like that, I would be charged or I would be fired, because we know sports is a different setting than a work setting.
And also, even in a work setting, Brett, I mean, I'm not saying that you would ever want to put yourself in that position. You'd always be suspended if you cause something like that in a work setting.
Oh, no.
But context is always pretty big.
It is.
In these situations. If there's wrongdoing on both sides, depending on how it came about.
And how many times over these airwaves, and if I've told y'all how much I liked Rick Barnes back in the day when he was at Clemson at an ACC tournament for grabbing St. Dean Smith, the untouchable of all time. I mean, you talking about Dean of Nazareth. I mean, he was just, a god, and grabbed him by the lapels and said, "Oh, man, you don't talk to me like that."
Mm-hmm. Somebody else says, what did the five fingers say to the face? There's a meme here.
I love a good meme.
The good old Dave Chappelle skit when he was about to slap Charlie Murphy. It was Rick James about to slap Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
And he pasted
Please don't do the Charlie Murphy imitation of I'm Rick James.
No, that won't do it.
It's a great
Somebody
skit.
says if you were Joe Q Public and not an NBA player, you'd be arrested for assault and battery. I mean,
yeah, but we're
okay.
Well, but we're not.
It's different. We know that.
Listen, he barely clipped him with an open-handed little slap. If the guy even has a cut, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
If there's even a scratch on him.
Yeah.
We don't need to do all that.
No.
I think we just overreact in a lot of ways.
Google if there were any charges around Kermit Washington decking Rudy Tomjanovich, and it almost killed him.
Somebody else says the imperfection of humanity manifested itself over the weekend.
It usually does. You know why? We're very imperfect beings. It guess what? I bet it manifests in some fashion next weekend too.
Someone says, y'all are nuts. It's Howard's fault, period. He initiated everything. Okay. That's where I'll disagree. I'm sorry.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that. I think Greg Gard stopped and frisked him in that situation. You know how mad he is.
I don't think we're legally insane, but we may be nuts.
I'm crazy. I already know that. Yeah.
You know that.
Verified.
Yeah.
You know that Juwan Howard was.
No, not all that.
You know that Juwan Howard was mad. Move on. Don't put your hands on him. Just try to move on as best you can. Now, again, I'm not trying to equate anything. I'm not trying to say that Greg Gard is worse off than Juwan Howard, because Juwan Howard clearly took it the extra mile and went crazy. But there's wrongdoing. There's wrongdoing on both sides.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And that's the point I'm trying to get here. And I guess the reason that I come so hard in here and sort of talk about Juwan Howard, understanding to a certain extent Juwan Howard, I think a lot of people jump straight to wanting the guy fired.
Yeah,
yes,
and
that's
I think
ridiculous.
that was unfair.
Yeah.
I think that's just an unfair way to look at this
I'm
situation.
big on let's don't let it happen again.
Yes, yes. You're talking about a guy who's had some success there too. The guy who's had a lot of success there. Somebody says no excuses for anybody, but wasn't Howard pressing the scrubs when Gard called the timeout? Yes, he was.
Coach your team how you see fit.
Yes.
If you want to run,
now I heard this
four corners, you can.
And some people are going to hear this name and immediately disregard this thought. But I heard Matt Barnes this morning. I was listening to him on.
Speaking of crazy,
I was listening to Matt Barnes this morning, and he says when you're down, going all out and still trying to play the game as it's being presented to you is okay. He thinks when you're up, it's a different conversation. To take a timeout with 15 seconds left.
So you get
drag
to
the
tell
game
me how I
on.
play.
Drag the game on. And I was like, that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how much that holds true in that situation.
No, I don't
There's
agree with
15
that.
seconds left on the floor, and there's a 14-point differential for both teams.
Play however you want to play.
Play how you want to play and move on. Move on with the game. Just get it over.
And I'm going
with.
to try to get my team better and not forget how you played and ran it up on me.
Someone said that justified what Juwan Howard did. I don't think so. I know. Okay. This just comes down to people understanding and listening to what you have to say and hearing what they want to say. There's no justification for what Juwan Howard did, but there is understanding there when someone stops and frisks you and puts you in a situation when you're mad and all the tempers are running high, everybody's flaring, issues could arise.
It's sports.
Yes. it is sports. So that'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 on the way. It's going to be a busy one. A lot of college basketball to get to. David Cobb at the start of the hour from CBS Sports, and we bring on our bracketologist from bracketwag.com and USA Today, Shelby Mass. You're listening to Sports 56, 98.5.
So here's what car buyers are facing right now. Most dealerships have little to choose from, or maybe some selection, but nothing to get excited about. Not at Auto Universe Germantown. I'm looking at beautiful top-of-the-line late-model cars and SUVs right here on Winchester off 385. Auto Universe Germantown has more luxury vehicles than I've seen in one place in a long time. Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep. Looks like every brand. How about Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, Toyota? Affordable luxury. No haggle pricing. Come on by, ask for Zach. He'll take care of you. There's no wait time for service appointments either right here at Auto Universe Germantown. Call Robert at 901-751-7300 and get in now. Brakes, transmission, tire rotation, battery checks. Top technicians for all makes and models. Even collision repair. Everything you want in one place. 7300 Winchester, just off 385. You're going to love Auto Universe Germantown. Ask for Zach and tell him you heard about him on Sports 56. Finest pre-owned luxury vehicles made affordable. That's eautouniverse.com.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? Well, radio has been called theater of the mind, so let's tell a story with sound effects. Wow, it's like I was in the story. Almost makes me forget this was supposed to be about saving big with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour 2 upon us. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Of course, Bryant Dacus producing the program. Autos on listener line 901-360-8255.
Man, who's picking out the good groove for the rejoin and the top, all that? Who's in charge?
That's all Gabe. Gabe has some hits.
Good
Who
stuff.
do you think?
Big 71. Good stuff.
Also, you can message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Got a lot of college basketball coming up this hour. And first, we're going to bring on David Cobb from CBS Sports. David, how are you?
What's up, guys? I'm doing all right. Never a dull moment in college basketball. Never. And on Sunday, we got a real exciting one there with Juwan Howard. And then, Memphis laid an egg. But it was just fitting that Juwan Howard chose the first week when there was no NFL to do something on our network that was pretty remarkable, that will go down as one of the top stories of the season in college basketball.
And with the music bed of the NCAA tournament playing, just beautiful, wasn't it?
I know. He really chose the opportune moment to maximize screen time because the All-Star game was still a few hours away. Nobody's watching the Winter Olympics anymore. I think they had maybe already done the closing ceremonies by that point. So, yeah, he really had center stage, and he took full advantage.
And David, I mentioned this in the first hour. The worst timing from a season standpoint, wrapping up your schedule. I think they have 5 more games, 3 against top 25 teams.
It jeopardizes
and they're part of the first 4 out in a lot of these sort of bracket situations. They're right there on the bubble. He put himself and his team in a bad position for the rest of the year.
Sure. So people are talking about the punishment, and some are saying he should be fired, which I don't agree with.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think even a 5-game suspension would get the message across, because of how important those 5 games are. As you mentioned, Gabe, Michigan right there on the bubble. And every team that they play from here on out is either a bubble team, like their next game is against Rutgers, a fellow bubble team, or their next 4 to close the regular season are all against teams that, as of today, are projected NCAA tournament teams. And most of those teams are really, really good. So those are super important games for Michigan. So 5 games would get the message across, I think, because that program would feel not having their head coach for those 5 games. So, I mean, it's just a situation that, he's put his team in a tough spot now. Not that Phil Martelli, the associate head coach, isn't plenty capable. He is. Well, it's going to be great for Michigan that they've got a coach with a quarter century
went to Elite Eight with St. Joe
on staff. Exactly. And I don't know, I haven't seen if he was involved in that at all or if he might be subject to anything. I haven't seen his name brought up in anything to suggest he would maybe be subject to suspension.
Better watch with Phil Martelli. Anybody ball, you don't want to get headbutted by him.
Just like what was the old pitching coach for the? I'm going to get this wrong, but there was that old pitching coach in the Red Sox Yankees rivalry who got
Don Zimmer. Ended up on the ground.
Yeah.
All right.
A-Rod had to fend him off. A-Rod was in a no-win situation. It was either get punched by an 80-year-old man or punch an 80-year-old man.
Was that A-Rod or Pedro?
It was Pedro.
Pedro had to throw him to the ground.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Pedro had to throw him to the ground. A-Rod caught one right in the chops from Jason Farratek in that same game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thankfully Phil Martelli did not end up in the Don Zimmer.
Good recall. Good recall, David.
Some of the players are definitely going to have to do some suspensions too. We were talking about Moussa Diabate. He was going nuts in there, David. And what do you think about Greg Gard? Do you think they'll give him any type of punitive
my whole thing is that it's got to be proportional.
It does.
So, I mean, it's got to be, I think Greg Gard's suspension should be about 20% of whatever
some games.
Juwan Howard.
Definitely
because
less.
And then if it's 5 games for Howard, it's 1 for Gard. So there's this. So here, to give you some background on sort of my view on all this, I'm off yesterday technically. So I walk into this an hour, 2 hours after it's all gone down, having been off the grid, having been, it was a nice day yesterday. I went outside, was back in time to watch the second half of the Memphis game, but I wasn't watching this game live. And so by the time I get into social media and the immediate reaction to all of it, everyone has already, gone to town, I guess, on Juwan Howard for his role in it. And you're starting to see more of the folks defending Howard and saying, well, hold on a second now. Greg Gard is not totally blame-free in all this. And that's true, but I guess I've seen way more people defending Juwan Howard than I might have expected. And there's folks out there who are willing to ride with the idea that Greg Gard should be suspended for however long Juwan Howard is. And I frankly, I think that's delusional because, I mean, it's clear that if Michigan had not been pressing, Greg Gard would not have felt the need to call a timeout to avoid a 10-second call with his walk-ons. I mean, you can see why Greg Gard called the timeout. I mean, Michigan's down 15 with 15 seconds left and playing as though it's the national championship on the line. So I don't blame him for calling a timeout to help his walk-ons avoid a turnover. And then clearly in the layup line, it's Juwan Howard who's pulling down his mask and smarting off. So I don't blame Greg Gard for trying to respond to what Juwan Howard was saying, but where he loses his innocence in all of it is putting his hands on the guy. And it doesn't rise to the level of striking a coach, but when he puts his hands on him, he loses his innocence. And so I think he should. If Juwan Howard gets 5 games, I think that Greg Gard should get 1.
Yeah, and you know what? I sort of mentioned this in the first hour as well. I think where you get a lot of people defending Juwan Howard is immediately after the fact. You have, and social media reacts unrealistically. It's so stupid. You just throw dumb takes into the void and you hope it sticks. But the amount of people calling for Juwan Howard's job, I think, is why you saw so many dissenting takes.
He should walk home. He's not walking home from Madison, Wisconsin.
But that's why you saw so many people trying to defend him at the end of the day.
And let me be clear, no, absolutely not. Now, it all depends, too, on the coach that we're talking about. If Tom Crean at Georgia struck an opposing assistant coach after Georgia's next game, my goodness, the boosters at Georgia would say, hallelujah, thank goodness.
We don't have to pay him.
Right.
We can get rid of Tom Crean for cause
Which
now.
they're trying to do it anyway. But
Exactly. Or if at Georgetown with Patrick Ewing even, I think they would breathe a sigh of relief. They would say, well, that was ugly and we hated that happened. But thank goodness, now we have all the justification we need to get rid of Patrick Ewing. I think in Juwan Howard's case, you're talking about a coach who, yes, they've had a rough year.
Coach of the year.
They're on the bubble.
No.
But, last year, in year 2, for him to lead Michigan to a number 1 seed, I think it spoke a lot to his potential as a coach. And the way he continues to recruit speaks to his potential as a coach. And
he's
so Michigan
outperformed Harbaugh already in that job.
Exactly. And so given his status as a beloved former player and what he's already accomplished there's no way they're going to fire him.
Exactly.
If they wanted to fire him, could they? I mean, I guess. But, he's been way too successful for them to consider firing him.
Yeah, a lot at work here, David. You, in your afternoon, here, and you know this, and we all know this, and this is part of the fun of it. It's why so many our friends go, hey, cool jobs, great life. You're never off. You're never off. And it's like, people, Brett, when do you sit down and do show prep? Every waking moment.
Yeah, well, I remember actually asking you about that when I was an intern. I was like, Stats, how do you prepare for your show? And you were like,
being
it's
awake,
my life.
being alive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all I ever wanted to do in my whole life. Another thing at work, Michigan has a chance to get in the tournament. How's that?
I know. Well,
they're terrible.
What you saw is frustration because, I mean, it's felt like at times they've turned a corner, like they beat Purdue by 24. But at the end of the day, you're seeing a program that was preseason number 6 that is on the bubble. I mean, you can draw the parallels between Memphis and Michigan in a number of ways. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's pretty close. Yeah, because 2 preseason top 10, top 15 type teams, big time recruiting classes coming in. The former, star player back as a coach. The parallels are there. Howard's accomplished more than Penny has at this point. But I just think that the same frustration you saw from Penny Hardaway after the first SMU loss, you saw from Juwan Howard yesterday. These are highly successful former players who, coaching their alma mater means a lot to them. And as players, they had a lot of success both in college and then in the NBA. And when you are, failing to reach that standard as a coach, as the leader of that program, that means a lot to you. You see the frustration come out.
Mm-hmm. And with that Tigers game, losing to SMU 73-57, we've sort of talked about it. And I had this take. I sort of said it almost helps SMU to win that game more than it hurts the Tigers for the time being. Now, the Tigers, if they lose 3 of their last 4, all bets are off. They're in a bad position.
Doesn't have a long shelf life, but for right now.
But certainly that win helps SMU more than it hurts the Tigers down the stretch if the Tigers can actually get back on track and win a few of these games down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. So it would have been it was a quad 1 game for Memphis. And the way I looked at it, after they beat Houston on the road, it was like, okay, just don't lose to Cincinnati and SMU, and you won't give away the games that you made by beating Houston. And that's the boat that I see them in now. Is okay, they won at Cincinnati, which for the time being I don't think is quad one, but it's a good win. And then you lose at SMU, which if I'm not mistaken they were undefeated at home. So and they had beaten Houston at home, and they got former President George W. Bush there sitting courtside. So I don't think there's any shame in losing at SMU. Now, I mean, if you want to get into it, that was a really poor performance.
Yes.
If you want to be scared about how they played in the second half,
what it might lead to,
yes,
right, then that's fair. But if you're just evaluating the resume, then no, I don't think the loss at SMU is catastrophic.
David, we're going to have our friend Shelby Mass from BracketWag.com, bracketologist for USA Today, on with us. I mean, y'all have Jerry Palm. He does a great job, joins Greg and Eli every week talking college football and college basketball. The bubble, yes, it's always soft because it's a bubble. It's not a rock. They don't call that, Memphis is on the rock. No, the rock is being firmly in the tournament. This is the bubble for a reason. When I see kind of this assortment of teams, Florida, North Carolina, Memphis, Michigan, SMU, pre-med, pre-law, nobody scares me in that bunch, and nobody's making a run, but it'll be fun to get in the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like there's really an issue this year where it's like, oh, man, how are we going to fill this bracket? It just seems to me like there's a lack of really quality bubble teams, I guess, and in some ways – Memphis's 3 quad one wins in some ways make it stand out on the bubble. And granted, they've got those losses that we all know about, but the 3 quad one wins set them apart from North Carolina. They didn't pick up their first one until this weekend at Virginia Tech.
If you don't make the tournament this year, you're not any good at all.
That's fair. Yeah. Iowa's another one with only one quad one win. Indiana, if you can believe it, has, I think, just 2. So
Kansas
the bubble
State
is not
on a bubble. I saw them in person down in Oxford. 1 game, 2 hours. They're terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, this is where, if you're Memphis, you get in this situation, as we all know by now, you hope that all the favorites win their conference tournament. You hope that
no bid stealers.
You hope that Murray State wins the OVC and doesn't get upset by Morehead State in the OVC tournament, so that all of a sudden the OVC maybe becomes a 2-bid league. Those are the outcomes, the things you got to look at now. Memphis fans know the drill. They've been in this situation before. And I think the way I see it shaping up is that, so long as they beat Temple, Wichita State, and South Florida, they're going to be in fine position come that regular season finale against Houston. And then the outcome of that game will determine what they need or don't need to do, in the league tournament.
David, you said it, and it's a mouthful. And I think it's probably more of a longer discussion topic in a month, maybe 6 or 7 weeks, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. You said Memphis fans know the deal. They know the drill. How are the Tigers, 4th year of Penny Hardaway, still fans having to know the drill on February 21st, in, out, bubble, NIT bracketology? Why is this continuing?
Well, I think the second half of the SMU game is an illustration of the issues that they've had under Penny Hardaway, and it's when things go bad, they tend to snowball, and that's both within individual games and then within pockets of a given season. So we saw it this year with the losing streak against some teams that they shouldn't have lost to, and then you saw it in the second half where they're right in that game early on in the second half, and then all of a sudden a few turnovers snowball into several turnovers, and then all of a sudden it's 21-3 run or whatever it was for SMU. And how do you stop the snowball before it gets too big? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, that's kind of a situation, a test of where they are now is can you contain what happened in the second half of that SMU game to that second half? Because if you can, we've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks what good Memphis looks like. And it's the ultimate test of his tenure at this point to see if he can unlock good Memphis after a showing like that now down the stretch and not let it snowball, not let it kill the confidence that they gained over, a 3-week stretch there where they were playing really good ball.
Talking with David Cobb from CBS Sports at David W. Cobb on Twitter. So a lot of SEC over the weekend. The one that really jumped out and surprised me was Florida ended up beating Auburn. That in-game situation by Auburn was not well done by Wendell Green Jr. But does that loss in particular sort of give you a couple of reasons to back off of Auburn, or are you still all in?
I'm still riding with Auburn. I was really disappointed, as you allude to, Gabe, that Jabari Smith didn't get a look. He was really good last week. I mean, he had 31 against Vandy, and then he had 28 in that game against Florida, almost half their point at Florida. And he doesn't get a touch when the game is on the line in the final second. And neither did Walker Kessler. And that's kind of maybe the issue that I see with Auburn, is that I love Wendell Green Jr., I love KD Johnson, I love the edge, the swagger, the intensity that they play with. Undersized guards will always have a soft spot in my heart, and Auburn has a few really fun ones to watch. But at the end of the day, when the game is on the line, they got to give the ball to Smith or Kessler. And they were trying to get the ball to Kessler, but they didn't, and so they don't end up getting a good look with the game on the line. Ultimately, I'm still a believer in Auburn, though, because they've got that defensive element that they didn't have when they made the Final Four a few years ago. And Walker Kessler is just an insane rim protector, best shot blocker in college basketball. And if they get the best version of their guards combined with that rim protection and with what Jabari Smith brings, they're absolutely capable of winning the national title. I think they're even more capable at their best than Kentucky, because Sheboy, as great as he is on the boards, he's not blocking 4.5 shots a game like Walker Kessler has been as of late. And so Auburn's just got that right mix to where if they put it all together, they can go all the way. And their 3 losses now have all been either overtime or one possession type games. And so I'm not all that worried about them. It's just obviously you got to work on those late game situations.
David, under the heading of therein lies the problem, Tennessee. I was there Saturday at Bud Walton Arena. Tennessee's good. That's it. They're not that good. It's not going to be a deep run. This is kind of the same Rick Barnes, except for that 2003. I said 2003 Final Four at the other UT. This is kind of the same Rick Barnes year after year. A program you can be proud of, one that's making no noise in the tournament.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they make a deep run because of the offensive limitations, which showed themselves again against Arkansas. It's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back for Tennessee in league play. They, I think, have shown and proved to themselves what they can do offensively. But then again, when they run up against a really long athletic team like an Arkansas or Texas, then they really do struggle to score. And so I think this team should reach the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. I think you're reasonable to be disappointed as a Tennessee fan if they did not. But anything beyond that,
I got to see a draw.
Would be a good, yeah, exactly. It would have to be a really good matchup because the blueprint for how to beat Tennessee is well documented at this point. All you got to do is go back and watch the tape of the Texas game, the Texas Tech game, or put in the tape from that Arkansas game, and you can see that when they're not knocking down threes, they just collapse in on themselves offensively. And I think it's really obvious too how you don't play Tennessee. I mean, go watch their game against Texas A&M when all of a sudden they looked like juggernauts on offense, because A&M was pressuring them. And where they excel as a team that regularly plays 3-point guards at once is when those guys, Ziegler, Chandler, Vescovi, when you pressure them and you give them room to operate, and then they can get around you, they can kick and all that. That's the way that you don't play Tennessee, and I think teams are starting to figure that out.
Fulkerson appeared stiff this year.
Well, I mean, I think this season kind of been what he's been for his entire career. There were glimpses there within the last couple of years where it was like, oh, maybe this guy can fill the Grant Williams role and be a double-double for you and be that steady source of buckets on the interior. But really he's at his best when he's a sixth man or a spark plug or an energy guy. I mean, the guy's been in college for 6 seasons, and he's the exact same offensive player today that he was.
He could stay 6 more.
Hey, I was going to say, is it possible to stay in college long enough to get washed up? Is that a possibility?
He's past his prime, because literally everybody in the SEC knows every one of his moves because he's never added a move to his game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the guy can't shoot beyond 8 feet.
He did a good job last week against Oscar Sheboy. I'll give him credit for that, though. I thought what Tennessee did to Kentucky and trying to stretch out Oscar Tshiebwe, I thought John Fulkerson definitely played a role in that.
And Tennessee will probably put it on Arkansas at Thompson-Boling.
Sure. The expectation all along, I think, should be that Tennessee splits those games. But Tennessee fans get excited because with Auburn losing, if you win that game at Arkansas, all of a sudden you got Auburn coming to town in a few days, and you got a chance to maybe make some noise in the league title race. And now that's no longer a factor. I mean, but at the end of the day, if you hold it together over these last 2 weeks, if you're Tennessee, you're going to get a double bye in the SEC tournament, which I think most fans would have penciled in as like a reasonable expectation entering the season.
So it's that time of year where you start picking your horses for bracket fill-out time. And I told Brett last week, one of the ones that I'm really looking at hard is Mark Adams and Texas Tech and all of the transfers that they have. Do you think I am leading myself in the right direction with that? Swept Baylor season series, swept Texas season series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought they were undervalued in the bracket reveal. I thought they had a really good case to be up on the 2-seed line with a sweep over Baylor. I mean, come on, that's as good as it gets in the Big 12. I mean, unless you sweep Kansas, but I mean, yes, they're legit. The defense is absolutely there. Offensively, sure, you can have some questions. They can turn in a dud every now and then. Offensively, they're kind of like a bigger Tennessee in some ways. A really good defensive team that can go cold. And they have an edge on Tennessee, as we saw when they played in a neutral site game because of their length. Yeah, I think Texas Tech was undervalued in that early reveal by the selection committee on Saturday. I thought they should have been up on the 2 line instead of Duke. I thought Duke got too much credit for the fact, being that they've played a pretty easy schedule with the ACC being as down as it is. Their non-conference was not all that great whatsoever. And I thought Duke was overvalued, and I thought Texas Tech should have been up on the 2 line.
And they are a great example of, especially in college basketball, at some of these, whether middling or a little upper rung when it comes to the power conferences, they are a great example of what the transfer portal can do for you in a quick turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mark Adams went to the portal, and it's not like there were some obvious winners and losers from the transfer portal, and that was my job this past summer, was to rank the transfers. It was a very difficult job, and I didn't necessarily peg Texas Tech's guys that they got from the portal as being superstars. I want to know what algorithm Mark Adams used to identify Adonis Arms as somebody who was going to come in and be a difference maker for them, because they got some guys, Bryson Williams from UTEP, another one who, how did you realize that this was somebody who could be so good for you? I mean, what Adonis Arms has done for Texas Tech is statistically far better than what he did at Winthrop.
That's Billy Bean Moneyball stuff, isn't it?
It must be. Honestly, I'm so curious to know, what computer program did you use to figure out that some of these guys?
I hope Mark Adams gets him a movie. Brad Pitt portrays him.
That would be a massive upgrade for Mark Adams if he got Brad Pitt to portray him.
Real quick, David, we got to get out real quick. Tigers have 4 left, 3 at home at South Florida. Temple, Wichita State, Houston at home, South Florida on the road. What's their record? Do they get on today? Do you predict they get an at-large bid?
Yeah, I'll go 4-0.
Okay.
Houston has not been great.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis has been good, aside from that second half against SMU. I think Memphis will beat those other 3, and then it'll be a fight to the finish against Houston, and I'll give Memphis the edge due to home court advantage. And I think they'll get in as a 10 or an 11 seed and make the dance. I don't expect them to make a lot of noise once they get there, but I think they'll get there.
Be an 11 and have a 6 versus 11 Tennessee and Memphis and Fort Worth.
Oh, no.
That'll be a good one.
I'll be there. I'll see y'all there.
All right, David. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great week, David.
Yeah. Thank you.
And follow David on Twitter at David W. Cobb. You can find all of his work at CBS Sports. Now, we got to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we really get to the bracket as a whole. We bring on our resident bracketologist, USA Today bracketologist from bracketwag.com, Shelby Mass. That's when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane bring you Sports 56 Grind Time. Brought to you by Poultry Power. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Tonight isn't just epic, it's extreme.
That's right. The premiere of AGT Extreme with the biggest, most exciting acts you've ever seen.
Like people swimming less than 30 minutes after they eat. Extreme.
More like huge jaw-dropping acts. No special effects, no stuntmen, 100% extreme.
Like full contact knitting. Extreme.
Not exactly. This one's hosted by Terry Crews with judges Travis Pastrana, Nikki Bella, and Simon Cowell.
Ooh.
AGT Extreme premieres tonight on NBC.
Or a bunch of puppies.
Oh.
Extremely cute.
I give up.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts, boots, and more. Frontier continues to add new items in their women's boutique. Flare jeans and pants are in, and Frontier is fully stocked. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops as well, all at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. No one has a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear by Carhartt. Wrangler and Area clothing available too. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled and expanded world-famous boots showroom? Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. Frontier recently added Hey Dude shoes with lots more on the way. As if the selection isn't reason enough, Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores. So when you're ready for your next pair, you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
The spring sales event is rocking and rolling at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Want 43 MPG highway in these crazy times? We Gossett in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $239 a month or $16,715. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, 27 MPG combined in an SUV, $349 a month or $26,010. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander. We Gossett at $398 a month. Not a lease, you own them. And get our stellar 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months Mirage, NH01803, MSRP 17465, Sport, NU003361, MSRP 27010, Outlander NZ053093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats, and it's time to talk to our bracketologist.
Artist bring us back. Jay-Z?
No.
It's not.
Nah,
no.
not
Naughty by nature.
Not,
naughty by
oh.
nature.
See,
You tried. You tried.
I appreciate the effort, though.
Yeah,
but,
the effort was there.
Swing and a miss.
The effort was there, but naughty by nature. Now you know, though. Feel Me Flow by Naughty by Nature.
Gotcha.
Let's go ahead and bring in our bracketologist from USA Today from bracketwag.com, Shelby Mass. Shelby, how are you?
Hey, Shelby.
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing great, and we got your bracket in front of us, and we'll jump right to the, to the topic of the day. You have the Tigers. You had them in. Now they're first 4 out. You have SMU in. I defend that because when I look at the net and I see the Memphis Tigers in the net at 44 and I see SMU at 46, okay, well, I know 2 spots ahead, but I also know what I've seen 2 times on the floor, and I think that should matter. How did that factor with you?
It mattered. The committee doesn't usually use head-to-head unless there's 2 teams going for roughly the same spot. You saw that in the reveal where Kentucky whooped Kansas, but Kansas was seeded higher than them. And so it doesn't come into play much, but these 2 teams are even enough. I felt it had to come into play.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at SMU for the rest of the year, we'll get to Memphis specifically in a second, but you look at SMU for the rest of the year, Tulsa at Houston versus Cincinnati versus Tulane. How confident are you that they'll get an at-large bid even without winning very much in the AAC tournament?
Well, they have a tendency to take a nosedive late in the season, and they've got to win all their home games.
Right.
They would be considered not bad, but pretty bad losses. The game at Houston, if they lose that, no big deal. They shouldn't win. But if they do win, I think that might lock them in.
It feels like Memphis and SMU's on a collision course to meet once again at Dickies Arena, and then if there's a late-season Tiger win, and I think I would say it if the math was reversed, okay, I know it's 1/2, but then you go to another metric like net and like kind of momentum going into the tournament, and I would kind of yield that way if they were to meet again. Before you came on, I told Gabe during the break, Shelby, if Kansas State's in the tournament, then we got way too many teams getting in the tournament.
Yeah. Well, I think there is too many teams, but that's a discussion for another day. Kansas State is close. They've got a mediocre record, but they've come in with some big wins. And this committee seems to value big wins more than the number of wins. And I think that may help K-State.
Well, Memphis has that, Houston and Bama.
Right, but Kansas State has big wins in the Big 12 where, that's a gauntlet of a conference. And they got a good road win, too, Texas.
Mm-hmm. But for Memphis in general, I know losing by 16 on the road in the AAC against a team that's another bubble team is not going to help you by any stretch of the imagination. But 4 games left. You have Houston to end the year. I think most people would consider that a somewhat losable game. 4-0 is what you aim for. What do you think 3-1 does for the Tigers? Does it just put them in the same position they're in right this second?
Yeah, I think it keeps them in the discussion, and it depends on what other bubble teams do too. If Michigan and Indiana and San Diego State lose multiple games, then they back in, and I think that would be ideal for them to take a little pressure off.
Speaking of Michigan, we obviously with the Juwan Howard Greg Gard thing that's been a big topic of discussion today. What has Michigan done that has kept them in this conversation so long? 14-11, we know what they were preseason, but they just haven't played that well, and they've never really hit stride.
No, they haven't played that well. I think what it is, they've got a couple of good wins, big wins. They played a very tough. Their strength of schedule it's one of the top in the country, I think.
34 net.
13 and 6, non-conference 13 overall 6. So that is very, very impressive. But they've got enough wins and it stayed relevant to where you've got to keep an eye on them no matter what. And they were kind of floating. That game at Iowa was a big one. But I really think that they're going to need a couple more wins now, and it's going to be tough because I expect
suspensions.
Yep.
in the SEC, just about everybody, you included, are sitting on 6 bids. For a 7th bid, it would have to probably come from either Mississippi State or Florida. Mississippi State today, 47 net, Florida 49. Florida fresh off the big win over Auburn. They both have a lot of work to do. Do you think a 7th SEC bid is very realistic?
I don't know about realistic, but it's looking more possible now that Florida beat Auburn. Had they lost that game, they'd have been done and had to be in that group of teams that has to win their conference tournament. I think that puts them in the discussion even more, and they play Arkansas this week. So if they get a win 2 in a row, good wins, I know they're late, but still they're good wins, then they've got a better shot than a lot of the other bowl teams.
Your 1 seed line right now, Kansas, Auburn, Arizona, Gonzaga, and this is pre any conference tournament conversation and wins and losses down the stretch of the season. Of your maybe 2 seed line, 3 seed line, who do you think is primed or has the best chance to go steal one of those 1 seeds that you have right this second?
I probably Kentucky. They're playing so good, and I'm not surprised that they were on the 2 line. I'm surprised a little bit they were behind Baylor, but they're playing really well. And don't sleep on Texas Tech. That's a team that's got, man, their defense is good, and defense wins championships. But I don't think they will, but they have got a shot if they run the table the rest of the way. It'd be tough to keep them off that 1 line.
Now, whatever, in late bracket NCAA tournament loss is crushing for anyone, but I'm calling it now. Whenever, and I think it'll probably be late, either to punch a ticket to the Final Four or Saturday of the national semifinals. They got to a final game against UVA a few years ago. Whenever Texas Tech goes out, it will be on the sports cruel and unusual punishment list very high. They will lose one that will break their hearts forever. I mean, it just because they'll be in almost any game. So it'll be down to a 1 or 2 possession game, and it will be March sadness of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Their defense keeps them in the game no matter who it is, and it's going to be a close loss, buzzer beater. That's what we want in March Madness.
Mm-hmm. Are you high on any team from the Big Ten at this moment? Purdue has sort of struggled at times. Only 4 losses. They're probably the most explosive team they have. But are you high on any Big Ten team?
Not real high. I'm kind of keeping an eye on Illinois. Coburn he's a phenomenal player, big guy. He controls the middle. I would love to see them play Kentucky and Sheedway go up against Coburn. That would be a knockdown dragout.
I think Kentucky would get them in a pace of a game that would run his tongue out. Mm-hmm. That Coburn would really have a tough go of it. Back local with the Memphis Tigers right now, just out. But if they were in, they would probably be in that Dayton matchup. The potential of a game against Michigan or maybe Indiana, someone like that on either Tuesday or Wednesday night in Dayton. I like Dayton. When we get around to it, it'll be a lot of fun. But she'll be back to where I think we both are, and it's not going to happen because we never go backwards in sports. It's too many teams in the tournament. There's some teams that just don't belong.
Yeah, there is. Go back to 64. That's a good round number for bracketing that they can satisfy all the bracket rules, all the requirements, give every conference a representative, and you don't lose a whole lot. I know,
but it's not going. We know it's not going to happen because it knocks out 2 great nights of TV, and that's what we all exist for.
Yep, and money.
Yep.
Now, before we get you out of here, got to ask you one. I just want to ask you yes or no what you think. Right now, you have AAC, no doubt, 2 bids, whether it be SMU or Memphis. Yes or no on the AAC getting 3 bids by the end of this season?
I'm leaning towards yes. I think they can do it.
Wow,
that's interesting.
Again, a lot of teams getting in the tournament.
I'm not putting money on it.
Yeah, I got you. We're not going to make you put money on it, but Shelby, always appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Shelby. Have a great week.
Thanks.
Enjoy the ball.
Cheers.
Shelby Mass with us every week now through one shiny moment through that Monday of the national championship game. We'll get his thoughts every week on how the bracket fits and starts come along, and then we'll get his thoughts into the tournament of proper seeding, right seeding, and those potential upsets. And like I said about Texas Tech, they're just going to be in that gut-wrenching game. Well, they were 2 years ago when they lost the heartbreaker to UVA, or not 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 tournaments ago when they lost the heartbreaker to UVA. The go-to place to sell any vehicle in this area for some crazy great money and get a check today on the spot is in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and you don't have to buy one of the All-Star cars or trucks. Just bring yours on in. Even if you owe money on it, you'll get your check today. If you're ready to go car or truck shopping, the place to be is All-Star Chevrolet at Olive Branch. All the Silverados are there and more on the way. Ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any member of that great team. I know they're sweating NCAA tournament and Tiger bracket prospects. They'll show you all the new Chevys, and more are in the pipeline. Our All-Star friends, they've gotten it done for us in this car crunch, getting all the best 21s and 22s, and these will go fast, so try to get down to All-Star this week. Pre-order whatever you want. 0 interest financing available. Your good credit, it deserves that. Go to allstarautogroup.com and look at all the pre-owned and certified pre-owned Chevy Silverados, Tahoes, and Suburbans. Go big and check out the new Stingray. Remember, it's not South Haven, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not the Pike, it's not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch. First exit into Mississippi on Highway 78 at Kraft Goodman Road, or you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Unreal at this moment that Shelby Mast is saying possibly he's probably leaning yes on 3 AAC teams, Houston, Memphis, and SMU. Because what was it, 3 weeks ago, if I asked him that, we would have heard a click. We wouldn't have heard him talk anymore. He would have hung up. But it is
and
kind of –
it's not a special league.
Well, it's tragic, though, because at the inception of it, with UConn in it, with some of these teams that were in it, with Cincinnati at the top of their game, with Houston
Temple, getting
Kelvin.
Even better.
Yes, with Temple. You thought it was going to be a good basketball league. It was going to get 3-4 bids possibly every single year. It has fallen off the face of the earth. You have the West Coast Conference probably with more showing in the tournament. Mountain West with more showing at this moment. The American Athletic Conference, if you said to me 5 years ago that they'd be struggling to get 1 or 2 bids, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah,
but right now.
And we never saw the demise of Greg Marshall.
Yes. Yeah. You couldn't have predicted that one. Unless you watched him on the sideline. He's a little animated. He was a little animated in this day. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, All-Star break discussion. Watch the All-Star game this weekend, All-Star Saturday. Dunk contest was, I don't even know how to put it a nice way. We'll talk about that when we come back on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
I'm with Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Shipping Kitchen. Pat, how are things downtown at the Shipping Kitchen?
Thanks, Brett. Wow, what a year it's been. 2020 threw a lot of changes at us. One of them was our great Memphis customers figured out how to ship our ribs all over the country.
Pat, we know you ship your ribs and shoulder all over the country. What are some of the other popular packages?
One of our most popular packages that's come out in the last year or two has been the barbecue nacho box. Well, our nacho box is an all-Memphis box. It includes our pork shoulder. It includes our friends at Poncho's cheese dip. Also includes Brim's chips, Felicia Suzanne's peppers, a bottle of our barbecue sauce, a bottle of our famous seasoning, some reheating tips, wet naps, cook hats, and you can even throw in a box of Dinstall's Cashew Crunch for the sweet tooth.
And Pat, this ships overnight just like the rest.
Brett, it sure does.
Where do we order this great food?
You can get these boxes by visiting our website. Go to www.hogsfly.com.
In the Alley in Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis since 1948.
Hey, Mid-South, the Kia President's Day sales event is in full swing at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and you're going to want to make your move today. Get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and get ready to ride in a 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month. 2022 Kia Soul LX, $219 a month. Both 36-month leases, $27.99 due at signing. Plus 2022 Kia Sorento LX, we Gossett, $308 a month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing. So come see Bobby J. He's going to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte Indy 456, $841, MSRP $21,090. Soul N78, $23,215, MSRP $21,515. Sorrento NG 104027, MSRP $31,460. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance through KMF. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So I'd say all in All-Star Weekend in the NBA was a success. It was fun for the most part. Friday, you had the Rising Stars Challenge. By the way, really enjoyed the new format of the Rising Stars Challenge. 4 teams. Rick Barry's team. Rick Barry's team of all teams ends up winning, and obviously led by Cade Cunningham. He was the MVP. Then they did, at one point, I think before the championship, they had that Clorox clutch shot thing with all the rookies and the Rising Stars.
That was kind of weird.
It was weird,
what's
but
that get you?
one of the funniest moments of the entire weekend was Tyrese Maxey and Scotty Barnes. You see, Scotty Barnes couldn't even hit the layup.
Missed everything.
He couldn't even hit the layup that they had. They had a little doink in front of the hoop. Then they had a corner 3, a wing 3, and a deep 3, and they didn't hit anything. I think they just hit the corner 3. And also on Friday, we saw Josh swinging tequila on Instagram Live.
Getting litty.
Good for him.
Yeah. Swinging tequila's never been my
always made my clothes
spirit
fall
of choice.
Ha!
Too much information.
Sorry.
Lord. No, it's I've never been. You give me a lime and some salt, I could probably. I know that sounds. I'm like a 6'4", 300-pound man saying, I need a chaser. But hey, man.
I have not had one drop to drink in 28 years, 4 months come Friday. I can still conjure up in my own taste buds how hideous tequila tasted.
Yeah, I'm not a big tequila guy.
Ugh.
And people would disagree
Behavior
with
was
me
always
here.
horrible,
People will
too.
disagree with me here. Big gin guy. Love gin.
Oh,
Love gin.
Only had it one time. Went to the Up Top party back 30 years ago, Up Top at Peabody on Thursday night. Hot. Tried
But
gin
as you
tonic.
can guess, bourbon's my spirit of choice.
It's like drinking lemonade.
Bourbon spirit of choice.
Then the next day. Oh.
Yeah. I'm about to start curling my mustache, too. since I'm a bourbon guy.
Oh, big time.
You're Raleigh
Totally. Don't you need a kit to do all that?
Oh, I'm sure you need something.
I don't know how Raleigh
Looks
Fingers.
busy.
Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah.
That was always an impressive stash.
It was. It was.
And he had to have like the moose. He had to curl that thing up and put some.
Yeah, and Charlie O'Finley, the owner of the A's, paid those guys to do that. And then when he bought the ABA team here, the Memphis Hams, they all kind of worked that look. But I don't remember anybody with a handlebar.
Yeah, but Ja was feeling himself on Friday.
he
That was
sure
fun.
was.
It was fun to see. It was fun to see. Desmond Bain, not a great showing. Didn't make it to the final with Team Isaiah. But he did in the first game that they had, but not.
What do you think
an
those
awesome
players like Ja? What do you think his weekend tab for family, hotel, cars,
Who knows?
food?
I couldn't tell you.
Did
and how
he
to
come
well,
out
how
ahead
to
from
well,
the weekend?
well, very highly doubt ahead. Come out ahead. I doubt that. I wonder how much he gets comped though. The entire week, probably a.
It's got to be
substantial
some
amount.
goodies for the league for him and maybe a room or
He's
two.
not paying for the hotel rooms, generally speaking.
And I'm sure Nike steps up. And
and I'm sure like nightlife. I'm sure that gets paid for by
I'm
certain
saying
people.
you come out plus.
I don't think.
Because I don't think there's a lot of freight.
Coming out plus is hard for me to imagine. I bet he balled out.
Now, if the All-Star game was in
he
Vegas,
definitely balled out.
And then also, like, he's not flying commercial down there.
No.
There's probably a PJ
It
somewhere.
was definitely a PJ.
Well, I mean, Paris steps up and gets them up there and back, doesn't he? Shouldn't he?
I don't know. I couldn't tell.
I mean,
you.
shouldn't he?
Maybe.
I'm
Maybe.
sure. I'm sure.
I mean, they're not hanging out at the Delta counter. I know that.
I think Robert Paris saying, "Why do I pay you? You have money to do this yourself."
Well,
No,
maybe
he can't do-
it's not
he got-
him.
I'm just
But
saying.
Wouldn't be too
I'm sure somebody's flying,
especially
up
at
there.
Supermax time.
Right. But Saturday night, All-Star Saturday night was all time because of the dunk contest. It was an all-time clunker. Karl Anthony Towns wins a 3-point contest, which no one saw coming. I think he had the longest odds,
Yeah, he
like
was
plus
like
1,300.
yeah, it was
I bet
high.
on Bain. That didn't work out. Didn't get out of the first round.
Bet on
Only
the
hit
3-point
18.
contest, huh?
Yeah, sure did.
Impressive.
Hey, why not?
Something
Why
I
not?
haven't done.
Little flyer.
Apps open, let it fly.
Something
I
you have.
haven't.
Oh,
But
are
I
you
did
going
have a
holier
nice
than
little.
thou, sir?
Well, I was
You
about to
bet
say.
you bet on matches leading
Well,
up to the
I had a little
Australian
parlay.
Open.
I had a little parlay going for the for Daytona, and hit on that. So I
Wait,
was.
a parlay on Daytona. and you
Oh
hit it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So you didn't get caught up in the Kyle Busch madness where he.
Oh no.
He
no,
ended
no,
up way
no.
out of the.
Yeah, he
because
got
that
in
crash.
dust up.
See
Yeah.
if we have Daytona versus All-Star game total number of viewers.
Oh, I could probably find it, but
who do
woof.
you think won? You think Daytona would outdraw
No.
All-Star game?
I'd say
No.
All-Star. I'd say All-Star would outdraw just a tad bit.
Not
by much. Not by much.
I'm going to say Daytona about 8 million, All-Star about 7. That's just a guess.
I think that's too high.
For
I think
both?
that's too. I think that's too high for both.
Okay.
I don't mind you saying it. I think Daytona could out.
You want to hear something wild from last weekend? So last weekend, the Saturday night NBA game was Warriors-Lakers. That's Showtime, isn't it? That's big time.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night before the
Huge.
Super Bowl, that it drew about 3.6 million viewers. On Sunday at the Waste Management Sunday TV for CBS, about 3.6 million
That's
viewers.
insane to me.
The Sunday of the PGA
insane
hangs
to me.
with the Saturday night NBA package.
That's a fun tournament, though, that I think a lot of eyes get to just because of what it is. To be fair, but it is the waste management. You're not talking about some.
The week before, the week before at Pebble Beach beat NBA Saturday night.
But the dunk contest, guys.
Yeah,
It was ugly.
Just get rid of it at this point.
over.
It's awful. It's horrible.
The market speaking, it ended itself.
It's miserable. Obi Toppin won. I can't even really give.
Why
a
would
shout out
you
to
award-
it.
How about
It
this?
was the missed dunk contest. They missed more than they made. Jalen Green was, I think, the favorite. He didn't make a dunk the whole time.
Keep a dunk contest, but in game.
The one Ja did
During-
last night in the All-Star game was better than anything I saw in the dunk contest.
And when he does that, immediately have the judges go out and hand him the trophy.
It was awful. And I think it really does kind of date back to because Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, I know they weren't big names necessarily at the time that they were doing this 2016, 2017. Well, Zach LaVine was on the up and up. But they sort of screwed Aaron Gordon out of a trophy a couple times, I think it's discouraged a lot of guys from wanting to even participate at all.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just get nothing.
Is there a physical toll on them like home run derby?
No.
I don't,
maybe a little bit, but not.
I don't think it's too bad or anything.
Like the dunk I saw that was the winner wasn't even a dunk. It was a lay-in off the backboard.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was really bad.
No, us old ABA fans, we saw the dunk contest of the day. Michael with Dr. J against David Thompson.
You know what? You can say what you want. I thought the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon finals for 2 years in a row were awesome.
Oh, they
Some of the best we've seen.
Yeah.
There was a time the NBA dunk contest was good TV.
Oh, no, yeah. And that's why it's always caps off the night, because they still think it might be good TV. But after this year, market speaking for itself, you gotta relegate it.
Scratch it off.
Put it, or at least put it where the 3-point contest is and end it with a 3-point contest, because at least you have names in the 3-point contest. All-Star game, though, was cool in itself. 163-160. Bron gets the fadeaway to end it. Steph Curry. The reason I sort of think the ratings may have been a little higher is because Steph Curry put on a show, guys, last night. That was insane. 50 points, 16 3-pointers. That was fun.
I didn't watch a lap of Daytona.
No, I did.
Well, I was.
You missed it. We had overtime.
I didn't see that. Did they call it overtime?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many laps
Big
is
time.
it?
2.
You figure it out in 2 laps?
Yeah, I guess so. There wasn't much moving going on. They all kind of just stayed together and then went to the finish line. Yeah.
Yeah. Ja only finished with 6 points, a couple crazy dunks. I think people wanted the MVP train to keep rolling. Ended up saying everything that I do is for Memphis. After I'm always representing Memphis and having the honor to play in the game and represent the city is big time for me.
It's big time for us.
It's very big time for us, even though it wasn't the biggest weekend for the
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Of about 15, I hope for.
Yes, certainly. Wasn't the biggest weekend for the Grizzlies, but it was still fun to see Bane and Ja get their moment on national TV. Now, Hour 2's in the books. Hour 3, we're going to start at talking some Grizzlies, what they have to do in this short sprint to the end before playoffs. 22 games. We talked with Michael Cole from the CA on the Grizzlies.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Memphis fans, the Tigers host Temple February 24th at FedEx Forum at 6. It's a Coaches for Literacy game sponsored by International Paper. The GTG 100% campaign continues. Scan your tickets to be entered into the end of the season drawing and win a trip for 2 to the American Conference Tournament as well as 6 months of ESPN+. February 24th at 6 against Temple, sponsored by International Paper. For tickets, call 678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com today.
As football winds down and basketball really heats up, there's no better place to enjoy all the action than at Sweetgrass Next Door in the heart of Cooper Young. Sweetgrass Next Door is just the right size, not some giant chain and not some hole in the wall. It's the perfect neighborhood bar and it's the perfect place to catch a game. But make no mistake about it, if you don't care about sports, you'll still be happy at Sweetgrass Next Door. Sports are on the many high-def TVs, but they're not blaring at you, drowning out conversation. If you love sports but you have friends that don't, bring them to Sweetgrass Next Door, the bar that puts neighborhood in neighborhood bar.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite while at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation bay. Topgolf swing suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sainterland, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at SwingSuiteMemphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Top Golf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
So here's what car buyers are facing right now. Most dealerships have little to choose from or maybe some selection, but nothing to get excited about. Not at Auto Universe Germantown. I'm looking at beautiful top-of-the-line late-model cars and SUVs right here on Winchester off 385. Auto Universe Germantown has more luxury vehicles than I've seen in one place in a long time. Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep. Looks like every brand. How about Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, Toyota? Affordable luxury. No haggle pricing. Come on by, ask for Zach. He'll take care of you. There's no wait time for service appointments either right here at Auto Universe Germantown. Call Robert at 901-751-7300 and get in now. Brakes, transmission, tire rotation, battery checks. Top technicians for all makes and models. Even collision repair. Everything you want in one place. 7300 Winchester, just off 385. You're going to love Auto Universe Germantown. Ask for Zach and tell him you heard about him on Sports 56. Finest pre-owned luxury vehicles made affordable. That's eautouniverse.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
We visit with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal on the beat for the his hometown newspaper. We're so very proud of him and the great work he's doing. He's on the beat for the Commercial Appeal, covering the hometown team, the Memphis Grizzlies, and everything that they did over this historic All-Star weekend. We visit with him after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour. And that's our friends at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online and check them out at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, all checked out thoroughly, very thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, and every make, every model. And if by chance it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they do care about your time. They know we live in a very busy world, living in a world that time really matters, and that's why they want to keep it simple and you enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, find a car that you like, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork complete, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less, in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or right now or immediately after work. It's that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
And we bring in DeMichael Cole right now at DeMichael C on Twitter. DeMichael, how was your weekend, man? Look fun.
Man, it's been great. It was great. I mean, I had a great time. Cleveland, the weather wasn't fun, but outside of the weather, I mean, I got to see a bunch of legends.
Right.
And, enjoyed a great time. The festivities were great. The events that they had, everything was good.
It was good coverage, DeMichael, and we appreciate it.
What was the peak of the weekend, though? Saturday had its, three-point contest was fine. Got to see some guys put up some threes. The dunk contest was ugly, man. Dunk contest was nothing to behold.
Ja Morant and I think like Anthony Edwards and Zach LaVine were the talk of the dunk contest, and all they did was sit and watch.
Right.
So they just because they were there, they would have talked dunk contest. So Yep. I mean, it wasn't that fun. But I tell you what, Cat though, I'll share a story with you. So I was in the hallway. I was writing in the media workroom. Most of the media had already left by this point. So it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening time, and I was working on one of my stories. And Cat's walking through the hallway. He's talking to a couple people, and he's just like, "They just don't know. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show them." And I'm telling the truth. I texted a couple people. I was like, "Look, Cat sounds confident. I know he has the worst odds, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. He sounds a little confident." And one of my boys hit me back, and he sent me the slip. He's just like, "Thank you, bro."
Man, I needed a text. Golly.
He sounded real confident, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I didn't." You didn't think Cat had a chance, but he was like, "Man, I'm trying to tell him." Like it was pretty hilarious to see it. He was confident.
And you had that interaction. You saw him because DeMichael. I know sometimes you have to get some sleep, but you have to be there because you don't know when you're going to hear or see something.
Yeah, I haven't gotten much, but it's been fun, because you don't just casually walk past Magic Johnson and LeBron James or Shaq just casually on a random day. Like that's just not usual. I mean, Bill Walton just walks through, and he's cracking his little jokes, and you just, that's not normal. So you enjoy it. You miss a couple hours of sleep to have those cherishable moments like that.
And incorporating that 75th honoring those guys, and it's the kings and the legends of the game, and that had to be special for you at an All-Star game to see that. That was basketball royalty.
It was, and I mean they were all out there. So I believe Commissioner Adam Silver said it was upwards of 50 of the living, like 60-ish. We're still, we're planning to attend, and I mean they showed up. It was great to see, and I mean they all had on. I mean they just looked like a group of guys with a glow on them. Like these were all people, For me personally, I only saw highlights of a lot of these people, so it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. And we all had a close eye on John Morant this weekend. Got to see him perform. Got to see him start. He had probably the loudest 6 points you'll ever see in an All-Star game. Two ridiculous dunks. The 360 alley-oop that he put down was better than anything I saw in the dunk contest. That's for sure. I know you got to sort of speak to him after the game, see some of his thoughts. How was his sort of post-game press conference there after the All-Star game, headed into the last 22?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we talked to him Saturday, right? Saturday he was super energetic. It was coming after Friday when he was all over social media for his Instagram Live and drinking the Casamigos bottle and all that. And then Saturday he comes in there, he's very energetic, he's laughing. And after Sunday, I got more of a business feel, from his. It wasn't too much, like jokes from him. He did make the one joke about, the rim not being high enough for him to do the dunk contest. But his message was, I saved some energy. We got ball games left to play. Mm-hmm. We got a second half of the season to worry about. That was his message. It was more about that than about, anything else.
And DeMichael, this last 22, it starts Thursday night on the road against KAT, against Cat and those T-Wolves, a team that could be problematic for the Grizzlies or somebody else as a 7 or maybe even a 6 seed come playoff time. But the whole complexion of the Western Conference now has really changed. Phoenix is still going to be the 1 seed, but if they can't get Chris Paul back in time to reintegrate him into with the Suns and with that team and team chemistry, and the Grizzlies only 1 game behind Golden State in the loss column, there's a real chance for the Memphis Grizzlies to be the Western Conference representative in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Brett, I mean, that 2 seed just became that much more important.
Sure did.
Because just think about it. You look at these injuries, because they matter. People throw them out the window like they don't matter sometimes. But you think about, like, Anthony Davis, for example. 4 to 6 weeks, they say he'll be reevaluated. Imagine if Anthony Davis comes back that last couple weeks of the season. He plays, and the Suns, the luck of the draw, a Suns minus Chris Paul runs into the Lakers with Anthony Davis. That,
it could happen.
Not been, they've not been good this year, but that's not just that's not one that you think they'll just cruise by. So if that happens, then that 2 seed controls their destiny. And then whoever that 2 seed is, if the standings stay how they are now, they're going to have a better record than the 1 seed out in the Eastern Conference, which will give them, home court in the finals as well. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
They have one more game against Golden State, and that's going to be the one.
Yeah,
March 28th.
If the Lakers somehow play themselves into an 8 seed, that does, in AD's back, that doesn't feel like a real 8 seed by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
Now, what do you think? We talk about that 2 spot right now. Grizzlies are 1.5 games back. I know the strength of schedule is worth mentioning here. They're 28 out of 30, so they have a really weak schedule second half of the season. Well, I shouldn't say half. Last 22 games of the season. How attainable do you think number 2 is to chase down the Warriors and possibly pass them?
Yeah, it's the way I look at it is they're 1.5 back overall, but at the end of the day, they're just a half game back, because if you do what you're supposed to do, which is when you play that team, you beat them, then they will have, the tiebreaker of the Warriors. So all you have to do is play them to a tie after that point. So, everything is within reach. Draymond Green, his back issues are still a thing. Golden State doesn't have like a schedule full of top-notch teams left. Their schedule isn't as weak as the Grizzlies, but it's not strong either. So the Grizzlies feel, they can't play with their food.
DeMichael, among your colleagues, among NBA movers and shakers, were you sought out by people, hey, tell us about what's going on in Memphis. Tell us about that team you cover.
Yeah, it's wild, guys. It's wild. I was at my hotel, and a German reporter comes down, and we're getting breakfast and whatnot, and we start talking, and he talks to me about how he stays up to around 12 a.m. to watch Grizzlies games, and he loves Ja Morant, and he's just dropping Ja Morant stats. He's talking about guys like Brandon Clark, like
Does he know Conchar?
He didn't talk about Conchar. He didn't talk about Diddy, but it's kind of wild to see just, how this team has become more than Ja Morant. That's what we've seen most, and I think Desmond Bain this weekend made a real big name for himself. I talked to a lot of the rising stars about Desmond Bain too, and they know his game. They know what he does, and all of them said the same thing. So yeah, they know what he brings to the table. They know what Ja brings to the table. More than anything, yeah, a lot of reporters were just telling me, man, you got a fun group to cover down there.
Oh, you're sitting on a powder keg. We are here. We are for this next 22-game sprint. We
no doubt about
DeMichael,
it.
we can't imagine. As fun as 2011 was and going to the Western Conference Finals, those years were great. We can't imagine what downtown Memphis, Tennessee, on a Saturday afternoon for a playoff game come May 17th, what it's going to look like or feel like. I don't even know if May 17th falls on a weekend, but in and around those days.
It's gonna be amazing. And then, it'll be Memphis in May, so you're gonna have tourists in town, and it's gonna be wild. And it's there's a Grizz next gen. I feel like it's gonna be a whole new flavor to what's going on. And I was talking to I did a story on one of the NBA referees who was born in Memphis.
I love that story.
Thank you. Yeah. So when I was talking to him, just in our conversation, we were talking about, the FedEx Forum, and he was talking about, during the grit and grind days and how tough it was to referee those games because of the way the team played. They really forced you to either make some tough no calls or make some really tough calls. But he was like, he hadn't been down to the FedEx Forum in the last couple of years, but word is getting out even among referees, like that is becoming a tough place to play. So yeah, they're earning their stripes for sure. No pun intended.
And you interviewed Gucci. You interviewed our man Guwop for that. I like to see that. So I guess it's kind of funny. We get caught up in all of the success they're having. They're 41-19. You're talking about a 22 games over 500. Ja Morant's been sensational. Desmond, all these guys, it's been so overwhelmingly positive. I haven't even asked the question of What are the big weaknesses? What are the things that fans, media, everybody should be sort of worried about when it comes down to the Grizzlies getting into playoff time?
I got one, DeMichael.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw it at you. Free throw shooting. Got to get better.
You already know it, Brett. That's there it is. Free throw shooting and shooting just overall. I mean, we had a small sample size. Desmond Bain hasn't missed many games this year, so I mean, there's been a fortunate factor there. But when he didn't play those couple games, when Ja, we were caught up in Ja scoring 35 and 40 points, but a lot of people were missing the fact that the Grizzlies were not making a lot of shots. So free throw shooting and 3-point shooting, those are two things. They really dominate the paint. But when you get to those elite teams in a 7-game series, you're talking about, Golden State, who has a guy like Draymond, who, he's 6'6", 6'7", but he's one of the best rim protectors because of the way he can just swallow up space. And then you talk about, guys like Gobert. You talk about the Suns having Ayton and then having JaVale McGee come off the bench. They're going to always be really good in the paint, but I don't think that advantage is probably going to be minimized a little bit when you play those elite teams. So they're going to have to shoot more, and we'll see if they can do it. But right now, I'm telling you, if the Grizzlies lose a series, it's going to be because the other team probably shot 84, 85% from the free throw line, and they were in the low 70s.
That'll get you beat at any level. DeMichael Cole, our guest, he is on the beat for the Commercial Appeal, covering all things Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies get back into action Thursday night in Minnesota. I got your lead ready for Saturday night in Chicago. Here it is. In a matchup of two teams that well could be the NBA Finals come June, the Bulls versus the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I like it. The Bulls are, man, watching DeMar DeRozan, we saw him earlier in the season on MLK Day. But when I saw him in the All-Star game, it was like, man, I don't think we give his footwork enough credit. Like, man, he is
Gabe
poetic.
Kuhn does.
Do we give his MVP odds enough
Gabe
credit?
Kuhn does.
I mean, what he's done this year, why does he not get the same credit? I mean, I remember last year we were talking about CP3 being an MVP of the NBA. I don't get why DeMar isn't getting that credit.
Yeah, I mean, no, for real, Gabe. I mean, it's unreal, man. He just, his footwork is just so poetic, and his mid range. I mean, he's averaging like almost 5 points a game, I think, from the mid range. That's just unreal. Like, he is automatic as they come right now. He's a closer. He's one of the best closers in the league. And I mean, I really can't wait to see what that team looks like when they get Lonzo Ball back and Alex Caruso and that whole group.
So you covered the All-Star game. We'll be at United Center for Bulls Grizzlies Saturday night, and next Thursday night you got to tweet out a picture. You got to go get a picture of the parquet and your feet on it in Boston at TD Garden.
I got you. Just because you said so, Brett, I'm going to make sure I do it.
I mean that is bucket list stuff right there.
For sure, it's a fun ride. This last part of the schedule, we got some real fun games, some real fun road trips to make. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What are the other teams in the Western Conference that going into the back half of the schedule sort of scare you? Jazz are always around. I think Donovan Mitchell's hitting his stride. I was curious what you thought of the Mavericks and the deal they made to get rid of Kristaps. And I'm sure the Nuggets, we've had that conversation before. It's Jamal Murray. When he gets back, you can start having that conversation.
Right.
But what do you think about that Mavericks team and what they did at the trade deadline?
I mean, it's a different sense. Like, for us, the good part about being an All-Star weekend is you got to pick the brains of the beat writers of I talked to the Mavs beat writer for a long time. I talked to the Nuggets beat writer for a long time, just to get a more of a sense.
Intel.
Because I feel like those are, exactly. And what I gathered from that is, in Memphis, we looked at it more like, Porzingis has been a thorn in Memphis for the longest.
Right.
And they feel like they took away some of the inefficiency on their team. And, you put the ball in Luka's hands a little bit more, which they feel like is never a bad thing. So they've been a great defense. So they feel like they're building a team around Luka Doncic that's going to be more efficient, a lot of good shooters. You brought in, the guys from Washington like Dinwiddie and Bertans who can really shoot the ball. So they feel like, from an efficiency perspective, they got better. And I think that makes sense. But the Nuggets, you just said it, Jamal. And then, like I said, I talked to the beat writer at the Denver Post, and he was like, man, look, honestly, I think that Michael Porter Jr. is ahead of Jamal right now. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even think about that.
Right.
I pretty much had ruled him out. So now you talk about them possibly getting back Jamal and MPJ. And that's just 3-6.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
There's no way you go out at trade deadline and make a deal to get something better than Murray and Porter Jr. I mean, just what they're getting is going to make them so much better. All right, I know you were professional. I know the old no cheering in the press box, no autographs with a credential on. I know all those no-nos, DeMichael. But who was the one person? Who was the one person at the All-Star game? And you looked over there and you saw them and you thought, 10-year-old DeMichael would have really appreciated this. This is really good. Who was it?
Woo! There were a couple. I've seen LeBron. I had that moment with LeBron.
Sure.
Before. So it wasn't LeBron. I think watching Steph Curry do what he did and then talking to him in the post game.
Yeah.
That was different. Like watching him do what he did and then talking to him in the post game. Steph Curry was one. And then, honestly, man, this is probably going to throw you for a loop, but LeBron James brought his whole Akron crew to his post game.
Nice.
And, I've seen all the documentaries, all the, with the Drew Joyce and their whole crew. So I'm looking at the crew and I'm like, that's that guy, that's that guy.
They're real.
I think
there they are.
Yeah.
Speaking.
That's, LeBron talks about, like, he wants to be that guy to show that, everyone talks about how you're supposed to distance yourself from certain people when you have success. He kept his group together, and you see Rich Paul's a millionaire.
Right.
Maverick
and
Carter.
You just described John Morant. Yeah. He's the same kind of guy. He's not going to forget the people from back home.
They all work exactly in that same light. John Morant keeps his guys with him. So it's like that. Just seeing that up close, it was really impressive because they all came to the press with him. They're making jokes with him. And, they're all from up the street in Akron. So they're just talking. And LeBron's like, man, this is we hang out every summer, but us being together for All-Star break and, just seeing that after seeing, what they did in high school, everyone went their own separate ways. They all, had their success, with Maverick Carter, Rich Paul becoming this big media guy. And, just seeing the whole group together, it was just real cool.
Speaking of which, LeBron, he was like he was the main form of news. I felt like of sort of news drops, reports out of the NBA. We have the Rob Pelinka issues. Clutch Sport not happy with Rob Pelinka. Yeah. We have LeBron saying he's not closing the door on returning to Cleveland. He wants to play with Bronny. How much of that was sort of discussed on the side? How much buzz was there around what LeBron was saying this weekend?
And do we know that Bronny is that good?
Well, yeah, that's always the question.
That's a big part of it, definitely. But I tell you what, when we talked with Adam Silver, and you'll get mixed reactions on how he handled it. A lot of people didn't think he handled it too well. I thought he started off, pretty good. But Adam Silver got a lot of questions just about player movement, the freedom of player movement and, contractual things. The NBA is worried, about that. Us as a whole, just imagine right now if the Grizzlies draft, the next LeBron James with the 30th pick next year, and then he's like, there's no spot for me in this starting lineup, trade me. So, that's becoming a real thing around the league. And that was a big talking point. And I don't think Adam Silver had the answers that people wanted. So, that was talked about a lot because you think about, LeBron James he's a smart dude. So he'll probably put himself on 1-year contract. But imagine if he's in a 3-year contract and then Bronny's drafted, maybe he's not a one and done. Maybe he goes to school for 2 years and LeBron's in the second year of his contract or whatever. And he just forces his way out.
Right.
So he can go play with his son. Like it's going to look real weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, expressly telling the Athletic wherever he's at, that's where I'll be.
Yeah,
guarantee it.
Exactly.
So just that was definitely one of the interesting things that came out of this weekend. But DeMichael, always appreciate it, man.
Great stuff. Get some
Thanks
sleep.
for joining us.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you anytime.
You got
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week. And you can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Follow his work at thecommercialappeal.com. Now, speaking of LeBron, we need to come back. We need to do what's trending. He had a lot of things to say. Clutch Sports had a lot of things to say this week, and that Athletic piece was
He
very
ran
telling.
the show in Cleveland this week.
Yeah, he sure did. It was his return. You knew he would. You knew he would. Also, we have some NBA notes to discuss when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
The Family Leisure family is growing, and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The spring sales event is rocking and rolling at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Want 43 MPG Highway in these crazy times? We Gossett in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage $239 a month or $16,715. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport 27 MPG combined in an SUV $349 a month or $26,010. Plus redesigned 2022 Outlander. We Gossett at $398 a month. Not a lease, you own them. And get our stellar 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months Mirage, NH001-803, MSRP 17465 Sport, NU003361, MSRP 27010, Outlander NZO 53093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Well, looks like we have an answer. Michigan has handed out a punishment. Big Ten, they didn't even wait for the Big Ten to hand out a punishment, which I know the Big Ten is going to make their comments and hand down their punishments regardless. But Michigan will suspend Juwan Howard for the rest of the regular season, according to Dan Wetzel, which is something you expect. If you want more blood than that,
I can't help you if you want more than that. I think that's sufficient.
And if it happens again, if he does this thing,
he knows.
You got to punish people and let them know what the response will be before you fire them, especially with how well he's done. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's Coach of the Year. He's done enough to prove that he's sort of on the up and up as a college basketball coach. I think this is what I expected. I want to see what Greg Gard, if he gets any. I would imagine one game is probably all he'll get.
And I think that's sufficient. And then after that, if you want more bloodletting than that, then your appetite's more than mine.
Well, at least we know now, right? We know what to look for. If this happens again, something happens in the post game, and Juwan Howard is part of it, it'll probably be worse next time.
I mean, it wasn't a great look, but it's sports. Boys will be boys. There's passion. It's intensity. It's heated.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about him being some mass murderer.
Yes. We've and you do bring up a good point early in the show. I don't know how many times it's happened where a coach hits a coach and makes contact with him. I don't know if it's really ever happened. It's probably happened at a lower level here and there.
I saw it at the Little League baseball park in Stuttgart in 1974. But
we've seen substantially worse things as far as brawls are concerned in college basketball and the pros and everything else.
I saw a woman cuss an umpire one night at a T-ball game.
That's where you get the worst stuff.
Oh yeah, if we're getting into youth sports, whoo boy.
Young umpire, I'm going to say.
Wait, T-ball? Were they arguing balls and strikes?
16, 17-year-old. He got the strike. He got the count messed up. It was only 2 strikes.
Wait, in T-ball?
In T-ball.
Does that just mean you swing through it?
He rings up the kid on 2 strikes. The mother.
I think you're creating a great image saying rings up the kid.
I'm watching.
Get out of here! Sit down.
I'm practically in the middle of it. I'm seeing it all, blow by blow. And she goes, Mr. Ump, I think that's just 2. And he says, nope, 3.
He was into it. I love it.
I'm imagining Angel Hernandez punching somebody out from behind the plate.
I can feel myself standing there. And then she goes into a cussing tirade. I said, look at here out at T-ball.
I'll never forget my when I was in 3rd grade playing basketball, the coach's son gets fouled real hard. The coach is going to go nuts. The coach's son gets hit.
Oh, boy.
He dropped 15 F-bombs on the way.
Whoa.
Loud. On the way from the sideline to the ref's ear. That was a funny one.
I was yelled at by some parents during a scrimmage. I was umping and
okay.
It was a scrimmage. They were like, "Hey, Brian, just get out there, stand behind the pitcher's mound, and just do the best you can."
And then they got mad at you.
And one was a questionable call. I just whatever, ball or strike. I forgot what I called it. What kind of call is that? You're blind. I was like, I thought they were joking at first, so I kind of played along with it. And they were not joking.
Not joking.
No, in a scrimmage.
But this is Big Ten basketball, and everybody will learn from it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I'm hoping right now, Big Ten final on CBS that Sunday afternoon, Wisconsin and Michigan.
Yeah, we'll still see a lot of overreactions tonight, even with this suspension. Should have got more. Let's calm down, play it by ear as we continue to move forward.
Well, Gabe, I don't know how to gently ease into this, but I was thinking yesterday just all the screaming hot takes and how much vitriol that's really out there. So yesterday, once again, and you mentioned he came to one of y'all's football games and came to the locker room at SMU.
Yep.
And you see the reaction
George
for George W. yesterday. And now post-presidency, he's not having to make any decisions. He's not having to make anybody mad. And now he's Mr. Champion of the world. He's out at sports. He's painting. He's got a daughter on the Today Show. Gabe, I can remember when he was in office, people called him Hitler. I disagree with you. Not red state, blue state. They called him Hitler.
I don't want to get into it too much because we're not a politics show by any stretch of imagination.
But it is President's Day.
Could you imagine?
Exactly.
Could you imagine, Brett, if Twitter was around during his presidency? Oh, Lord.
It was at the infancy.
But if
you're
you
right.
had Facebook and Twitter at full form, Lord. He wouldn't have made it, I don't think. Through 8 years? No way.
The majority leader of the United States Senate then, now deceased, the late Harry Reid, called the President of the United States a loser.
There's no way.
And now, he's sunshine and daffodils. He's painting. He's at the ranch. He's going to sports, and everybody loves him now.
He loves him
right there on
SMU.
SMU's campus.
Because he's not in the arena anymore. That's why it's sunshine and daffodils. But I don't think George W. ever needed to be called Hitler.
Yeah, if you're going to draw that
far,
if you're going to draw that, make a similarity there, say someone similar, you better have a good reason for doing that.
And let's remember the atrocities that person committed.
Yeah, I'll never forget though him coming into the locker room before the game. Uphold the very kind nature of your program today, and have fun.
Play
ball, and walked out. All right, thanks, George.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, W.
Munn's had a good Jason Munn's had a good video of he and the First Lady strolling in there.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's get back to LeBron. Well, actually, first, you have CP3 out 6 to 8 weeks with a thumb fracture. That'll land him roughly at the beginning of the playoffs, I assume. I don't know how long that takes. But in the meantime, for the Suns, I think they can hold off the Warriors. They're up 6 games. They're up 6.5 games
they're gonna be
right now. But this is an important time for Devin Booker, isn't it? To be able to prove sort of he can run this team, run this show on his own.
All right, and let's say he does, and it's with all good reports. Then you have Chris Paul come back, and you have to reintegrate him in, as we talked about with DeMichael. But Devin Booker's used to that green light flashing at playoff time. Mm-hmm. The ball goes to him, and it doesn't get whipped back around to Chris Paul. I mean, you could have chemistry issues at the most important time of the year.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I have always said, and I think this, CP3 he should get a lot of credit. He gets far too much credit when his teams are really good. He gets far too much credit, Brett. He is so.
I'll just never forgive him over 2013.
He is, especially last year. I look at him last year, and when the time really gets tough for Chris Paul, I don't know if he comes through necessarily, and it just shows. You look at his playoff history; it's a fact
at any level. And he didn't win. He's never won a championship at any level, high school, college, or pro.
And also, he is the king now. He's the king now of being up 10 and finding his spots in the mid range and putting up shots. He loves putting up shots when they're up 10.
And he's gonna have the ball in his hand late in the game, and he's gonna be knucking and bucking and drawing fouls.
And if there was a stat for leadership, he'd lead all time, right? Media gives him a lot of credit for leadership.
He's a leader's leader.
Oh, he's a leader. There's no question about it.
Jason Kidd was up there.
What do you think about him as a coach?
To be determined.
That's the ultimate leadership.
Wasn't great with the Bucks.
Nash got the leadership thumb on the scale too.
Speaking of Nash, he signs his old running mate, one of his old teammates, Goran Dragic, who's 35 years old. Remember him from the Heat's bubble run, one-time All-Star. He's always, when he's on the floor, Goran Dragic is a good player, but signs with the Nets today.
Total number of teams now played for Goran Dragic.
A lot.
He's played for everybody.
A lot. Yeah. But he's good when he's on the floor. And, that bubble run with the Heat,
especially on the offensive end. He's really good there.
I don't
Defense, solid.
I don't know how appreciated he was for that Heat's bubble run, though, at the time. Because he made it happen for them.
Well, you know why he wasn't appreciated for the Heat bubble run.
The hero, the
we
hero.
We can only give credit to one guy. The man, when the literal hero comes
we do have to give a slight apology, right? Because Tyler Hero's been playing well. Probably 6th man of the year right now.
He has been, but the hot takes road to the Hall of Fame
Hall
coming
of Fame.
out of the bubble.
Put him in there right now. What do you mean? Why were you waiting?
And Bam Adebayo also had a lot of bubble love too.
I like Bam Adebayo.
I do
I
too.
like him
but
a lot.
The everything was very conflated.
You know, I always talk about
including the Lakers asterisk championship.
You know, I talk. And speaking of Bam Adebayo, you know, I talk about the screen setting Hall of Fame. He needs a spot right now.
He can set some screens now.
Oh, Lord. He's the reason Duncan Robinson got a contract.
Oh, man.
But see, I think Tim Duncan is the all-time screen setter.
He's up there, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean.
And those Spurs teams were such.
Best power forward of all time?
I would have him in my. You saw a lot of all-time best fives this weekend. Mm-hmm. Mine, for whatever it's worth, is Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, and LeBron James.
Yeah, I don't think there's a debate. Magic Johnson, best point guard of all time. Point guard.
I think so. Yeah. With that size and that creativity.
Yes. All right, speaking of LeBron, where do I even start? I mean, he was the center of attention. And you knew he would be going back to Cleveland. I guess I'll start with the Bleacher Report about Clutch Sports.
Because
Rich
Cleveland
Paul
won't get All-Star back again the rest of his career.
Yeah, but Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, his good friend from when he was younger, apparently is not happy with Rob Pelinka, of course, the GM of the Lakers.
It's
being
who the GM
reported.
Of the Lakers is.
It's
LeBron.
It's reached a boil when Pelinka refused to trade Russell Westbrook and a future first-round pick for Rockets guard and Clutch client John Wall. Are we being serious? So they had to make that deal, or Clutch was going to be angry with them. They had to go get John Wall, or they're going to be angry with them.
I think Clutch Sports was looking to be angry, Gabe.
Well, yeah,
and they found it.
And Clutch Sports holds a lot of power nowadays with how many clients they have, and their part. And they probably need to get some of the credit when we talk about player movement in the NBA and how easy it is nowadays.
They're a powerhouse.
Yes, but the fact that they have supposedly are angry and they reached a boiling point because they didn't want to trade Russell Westbrook for John Wall, does that make the Lakers better?
I don't think you fall out over it.
No.
But I think they were looking to be irritated, and that was the kind of the easy way.
And then the bigger news, the Athletic report of LeBron saying the door is not closed on a return to Cleveland. And then this quote, "My last year will be played with my son. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I would do whatever it takes to play with my son for 1 year. It's not about money at that point."
I hope they can. I hope that it's the NBA version of the Griffeys. But, late in Ken Griffey Sr.'s career, they got him to Seattle. They already had Junior there, and they knew he was on his way to superstardom. Again, I hope the young guy is. But, I mean, do we know that Bronny's going to be all that?
Well,
I looked up today. He's ranked 30th in his class.
And that's 247?
Rivals.
Rivals.
And we know 30th, that really can be 3. That could really be 300.
He's LeBron James' son. If he was really that good, he'd be 1. There's no question about it. And also, the thing that does worry me about him, a combo guard, 6'3", 190, his dad is not a combo guard. His dad was never sold as a combo guard. He was sold as a small forward, 6'9", 250 pounds. And if you were running a 40 and he was playing football, he'd run about a 4'4", 4'5". Okay, and he's clearly not the same player.
I hope we enjoy the story.
And he's clearly, I think at this point, and you don't know how much guys grow in their junior, senior year of high school, but at this point, he's not what his dad was.
No.
Not even close.
It sounds like DeJuan Wagner's son is.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real deal. He's good.
It sure. What do you know about Bronny?
I mean, I've seen him play a couple times. I'm not super impressed by him or anything.
Like the NBA talk seems a little early. But he is LeBron James.
Yeah, it's exactly who he is. I mean, that's why we're getting this.
Yeah. Now let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be officially time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Nothing's worse than starting trouble. Well, we can help you out. We can start with a free battery test. That way, we'll know if your battery is causing the issue. It could be your starter, it could be your alternator, and you don't want to waste money on the wrong fix. And if you do need a new battery, we've got you covered with a wide selection of replacement batteries. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2020.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you're not regularly going to Central Barbecue, then you are being, I'll say it, un-Memphian.
That's not even a word.
I just made it a word. I'm drunk with power.
No, I think you just might be drunk.
Well, when this runs, that's entirely possible. But right now, I say completely soberly, if you don't eat the best barbecue in Memphis, then you're being un-Memphian.
Seriously, you can't just make up words.
I listen to your show every day. You make up words all the time.
Yeah, but not on purpose. We just get carried away. You're deliberately making one up.
Un-Memphian! Not going to Central Barbecue is like not cheering for the Tigers or the Grizzlies.
Un-Memphian.
See? Now you got it.
Hey, Mid-South, get ready to ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike with the President's Day sales event. You want 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude? We Gossett $359 a month. How about the Muscle Masterpiece 2021 Dodge Challenger GT, only $529 a month. And Ram 1500 Express Quad Cab 4x2 returns for 2022, and we Gossett at $559 a month. Come see us trade up, and we'll give you more for your ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come for our best, or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 at 3.99, 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler. Chrysler Capital Bonus Cash 500. Renegade MPN 27183. MSRP 28.5. Challenger MH 665256. MSRP 37,475. Ram NS 148 241. MSRP 38,930. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22. Dealer stock only.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
nail tech knows how to keep it a little secret. I don't wish for my success.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Goodbye, Flo Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Two-parter here. Brian Flores, hired by the Steelers. I thought that there was no chance that was going to happen with the ongoing litigation, but of course the Rooneys step up. Of course the Steelers always step up. He's been hired as the linebackers coach for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
He'll be Tomlin's successor someday.
Yeah, so good to see him get a job and not get blackballed. As we've seen in the past, it's easy for guys like him who talk about racial issues to get blackballed. Now, what I really learned today, and this is unreal, and I know The Rock's a really good businessman, but I didn't realize the extent of it. 800 millionaire Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who obviously bought the XFL. They just announced today that they would collaborate with the NFL on select innovation programs to further expand the game and create increased opportunities for player development both on and off the field. So basically what they're doing, they're sharing info on health and safety, field conditions, officiating,
experimental
player development, trying to expand the game to the rest of the world. But to be able to be the XFL and to be able to have a partnership with the NFL, and I know indirectly right now we're not talking about already them being a minor league system for the NFL, because I don't think the NFL has put that much skin in the game yet. But to have any partnership with the NFL is a good thing for the XFL, because you can always expand it. You can always,
and it puts them a leg up on the USFL.
And I was going to say, it's a terrible, terrible year for the USFL to try to come out of retirement, because clearly The Rock has a leg up on any expansion league or spring league that wants to pop up.
I learned this weekend, and I've voiced it today, Tennessee basketball, they're really good. But I think that's it. I don't think it's close to a Final Four or even an Elite 8 team. Maybe the 16. And isn't that the story of Rick Barnes, except for 2003 at the other UT? Isn't that the story of Rick Barnes over his career at the respective UTs? Never really a real go-for-it contender, but one time.
Mm-hmm. What I could have done without, one, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Matt Luke stepping down as the Georgia O-line coach. I just hope it's not something serious, not something that has to do with health, because Matt Luke, really, really good O-line coach, has a lot to give to the game. Did a really good job with that Georgia offensive line. Done a good job with offensive line just about everywhere he went. I know it didn't end well at Ole Miss, but he was a placeholder dealing with some very extreme circumstances. He did his best. But what I really could have done without, scouting combine. I don't know if people are caught up on this. The combine's going to take place 1st through the 7th of March. Pro Football Talk put out a report that there's going to be a boycott of sorts. 155 of the 324 invited players from 13 different agencies are prepared to announce that they won't participate in the combine, because the NFL issued on Saturday an email regarding restrictions that will apply to this year's combine because of the pandemic, and they intend to create a bubble environment which will strictly limit the ability of players to interact.
It's blocking out most of their nutritionists, isn't it?
Most of them want their nutritionists. They want their rehab. They want to be able to get their performance teams, their physical therapy teams in there, because that's a big part.
Yeah.
That's a big part. You have to be able to stretch. You have to be able to get
the nutrition,
the knots massaged out.
You want to hit that exact weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
sure do.
You want to nail that weight. Mm-hmm. I could have done without Jalen Duren, only with 6 touches, 6 field goal attempts. I think that's a searing indictment on Coach Penny Hardaway. Jalen Duren should have 12 minimum. And now the Tigers are right back in the same spot at this time of year again. No way I think Memphis gets in over SMU when you've lost to a team twice.
You wouldn't think. You wouldn't think. SMU, though, they have a very interesting resume, though, because they don't have much.
They can't stumble either.
They don't have much in the way of great wins. Their out of conference was terrible, and all they had in out of conference was bad losses. Mizzou they lost to,
and a 6'5" post player enduring touches 6 times.
The 6'5"
for SMU.
Oh yeah. The Tigers should have been able to take advantage of
the
height, and they couldn't.
No. I mean, being out-rebounded by that team is ridiculous.
It's bad game plan altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, for Tiger fans, there's a lot of games that you need to be rooting against. You need to be rooting against TCU as they host West Virginia. You need to be rooting against North Carolina as they host Louisville. I think you need to be for Ohio State against Indiana in a game that doesn't really matter. UCLA, they can't stumble against Arizona State. And I think we're in the last days of Bobby Hurley at Arizona State.
And you can have fun and just watch Baylor, see how good they are. Top 10 team. They're not near what they were last year, though. I like James Akinjo, but I don't know if they have the same. I don't know if they have the same guard play.
I didn't think they were going to win it this time last year, though.
But Davion Mitchell is completely different than anything they have on their roster now. And he made up for so many ills that they couldn't.
All right, who has the hottest take on the Juwan Howard decision tonight on TV? Before we go to bed, who's the guy you go, I knew he would say that?
Ooh. Seth Greenberg is
it's got to be my man Billis.
No,
I was thinking maybe Billis.
I don't think it'll be Billis. It won't be a hot take, at least. I feel like he'll play both sides. I'll say Seth Greenberg.
Greenberg off the top rope?
Yeah.
Jordan Cornette, maybe?
Well, I mean, Doug Gottlieb's
maybe.
out there.
Yeah.
Doug Gottlieb's
and
out
he'll
there.
try.
He's the one. But if we're talking ESPN that we're actually going to hear, I'd say Seth Greenberg.
Are y'all staying up for Hawaii-Washington State College baseball tonight at 10:30?
I'm not.
I will not be.
Got money on it.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to David Cobb, Shelby Mass, and to Michael Cole for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night. Be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow at 3.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place. That's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point energy-saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, certified late model used cars, and cars under $10,000. At Sunrise, we specialize in low monthly payments and secondary financing. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. Schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars inspected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting.